Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to another exciting episode of Versus. I'm Clint, your host, and I've got a guest host, the other host, the other baker. That's right, the Cinemuffins in the house. We're going to be talking about movies, because that's what we do here on Versus. We like to compare movies, and we've got two of the greatest movies ever. The Big Lebowski, directed by the Coen brothers, that's right, and True Romance, directed by Tony Scott, written by Quentin Tarantino, quite possibly the two best casts ever. It was suggested to me the other day that True Romance has a better cast than any other movie, and I said, damn, I can't argue with that. And then I hit up Curtis, like I do, and he says, well, what about The Big Lebowski? And so now we're going to fight about it. So let's get Curtis in here. But before we do, guys, like, share, subscribe, hit that hit that subscribe button, notification bell, all that good stuff. Curtis, let's get Curtis in here. What is up, my man? Curtis in the house. CB3.
Hello.
Cousin
How
Curtis.
are all of you? First of all, go Cougs. They got Villanueva tomorrow. They're going to be in the Final Four, hopefully.
Yeah.
All of you, all of you non-USA people are like, who fucking cares?
Who the hell's a Coug?
Go Cougs.
What's a Coug? What is a Coug?
University of Houston Cougars, baby.
Hey, go Cougs. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations to Nicolas Cage. I heard that he paid off all of his debts. So, so big round of applause
That's a big deal.
for Nick Cage. We'll give him a little air horn. Yeah. That's awesome, man. Good old Nick Cage, dude. He's been working hard. We've been seeing all these movies keep coming out, and we're like, dude, another one? And he owed a bunch of money for taxes and other stuff, and he's finally got it taken care of. And, he hadn't made a bunch of garbage. He's been making decent movies. There's been some good ones. There's been some interesting ones, but there's also been some good ones. If you saw Pig, that was a really good one. But this show's not about Nick Cage. This show is about Big Lebowski and True Romance. But before we get into that, let's get into the chat. What were you going to say, Curtis?
Well, I was going to say one of the big debts of Nick Cage. If you don't remember, a while back he was engaged to Lisa Marie Presley.
I did not know that. Is that real?
Yeah, it's been a long time, but he was engaged to Lisa Marie Presley, and they were the story goes they were on a boat, his boat or somebody's boat, I don't know, out somewhere, and she decided to break it off, so she takes off the engagement ring and just like chucks it in the water, and he was like, "What are you doing?" That was like, I don't know, $30,000 or however many $1,000, blah blah blah, and she's Lisa Marie Presley. Like,
yeah, she didn't care about that.
Her dad is literally, her dead dad makes more money than like most living people, and she's just like, I don't care. But he bought it. So that was one of his debts. It didn't work out, obviously. But
well, that story would have gone well right before True Romance, because he says, if I was going to have sex with a man, I'd fuck Elvis. Was one of the Elvis. If you can't have Elvis, I guess Lisa Marie's the next best thing. Go Nick Cage.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that got weird.
Beautiful woman, but she looks like Elvis.
She's a lovely woman. Well, let's talk some Big Lebowski, man. Well, let's say hi to everybody in the chat real quick. Who do we got? All right. We got Bobby. We've got Mel Kennedy. Yeah, Bobby says, or get the controllers. It's completely out of context. Mel says, sorry.
Yes,
Sorry, haven't seen either movie, but here for the Bakers. All right, I like that.
Mel, thank you for coming for us, but you are a lucky. I almost envy you because these movies are so good that having not seen them, seeing them for the first time is like, it's just true gold.
After I saw the movies, I'd wished I hadn't seen them so I could go watch them again.
Right?
It's like, man, I wish I hadn't seen those. Yeah, I'm trying to fix my camera here. Seem kind of short. I don't like being shorter than Curtis. There you go, Curtis. I'll get you a little height there. There you go. Oh yeah. All right. Sweet. Hold on here. Trying to.
Yes, and Jedi says,
Ah!
Jedi Master EJ says, yes, it's real. He has an Elvis thing. Nicolas Cage was a huge Elvis fan, and that's Lisa Marie kind of. The rumor is that she figured out you're only marrying me because my dad was Elvis, and dropped him.
I mean, I wouldn't know what to do about that. Be like, dude, you only love me because I'm Elvis? That is kind of weird.
One thing that's interesting during my
hell?
ancestor stuff. So I am.
Don't tell me you're related to Elvis.
I mean, not Presley, no. So it's through marriage and stuff. My sister's kids are actually blood related to Elvis because one of the people that Lisa Marie married, I couldn't even tell you what his name is, but one of the first guys she married and had kids with, her husband is actually related to those people.
Oh wow.
And so I'm not, but literally my sister's daughter or my niece could go and to meet them and be like, oh hey, we're related, to whatever offspring of Elvis that is, or But I did grow my hair out. I've been wearing a hat for a while because it's been in the stupid, ugly cheese puff stage, so it
Yeah.
just looks like an idiot head. And it finally got long enough to where I could actually comb it, and so I'm debuting my hair.
Dude, looking sharp, man. You trying to get out of that family
Thank
look?
you.
Family.
Thank you.
Looking good.
It's getting hot again, so I'll probably shave it again.
Yeah.
Like once it gets hot, I'm done with it. But
well, let's talk about some Big Lebowski. What do you say, man? They
let's.
The Big Lebowski, one of the greatest movies ever. Jeff, the dude Lebowski, is mistaken for the Big Lebowski, which, hold on, I got to read this again. For a minute I thought my mic was muted because that used to happen. Jeff, the dude Lebowski, is mistaken for Jeffrey Lebowski, who is the Big Lebowski, which explains why he's roughed up and has a precious rug peed on. In search of a recompense, the dude tracks down his namesake, who offers him a job. His wife has been kidnapped, and he needs a reliable bagman. Aided and hindered, I just say hindered, by his pals Walter, a Vietnam vet, and Donnie, master of stupidity. What an incredible synopsis altogether. And what an incredible film with an incredible cast. Holy smokes, man. Yeah, such a great cast. And it's hard. I'm pretty protective of true romance, but as this movie started playing out, I was like, I don't know, man. This is a pretty ridiculous cast too. So we got Jeff Bridges, John Goodman, Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, John Turturro, Tara Reid. Oh yeah, Tara Reid. Sam Elliott. One of my favorites, Philip Seymour Hoffman, David Hiddleston, Peter Stormare, David, I don't even know how to say Thwellis, Mark Pellegrino, most importantly, Flea, the bass player, one of my heroes. Yeah. Jimmy Dale Gilmore, which is hilarious. Man, there's the list goes on and on. It's such a good cast. It's ridiculous.
Well, no, Mel asks action comedy then. And so here's the deal. The guy who wrote the synopsis for this should get some kind of medal because it's a detective movie at its core. But when you first watch this movie, I'm telling you, Mel, you're gonna be like, what the fuck is going on with this movie? This is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever seen. Like, what's happening here? It is definitely a rewatch movie. I'll tell you that right now. Even the first time I watched it, I was like, what's the big deal? I don't get it. Like, this is so weird. But there are pieces that'll stick with you, and then you're like, all right, I want to watch it again. And it hits home so much. Like each time you rewatch it, it is definitely a rewatch movie. And so in describing it, that's what I mean. Describing it is not, besides a fun time and just because you could say it's a stoner movie, you could say it's this kind of action comedy movie, you could say it's a comedy, but you could say it's like a noir piece. I mean, you could say all these things. It's just this movie that it almost defies description, and yet it's so good.
I just call it a bowling movie.
And you could just straight up calling a ball. Yes,
Dude,
absolutely. You would not be wrong.
It's such a weird movie. Like, and it's funny. My brothers, before I actually even saw this, swore up and down that this character, the dude, was based on my oldest brother, Davey, and who looked just like that and used to go to the store in a robe, like him, and and Smoke having a doob wasn't he wasn't a stranger to that either. So him in a robe with the doob in house shoes, that's like, they're like, dude, somebody saw my brother and made this movie about him, which is hilarious. No need. Mel says no need to highlight this home from where need to shower. Blah blah blah. Okay.
He said no.
Yeah. Anyway, it's really an unforgettable movie, and it's also a forgettable movie. I saw this. I don't know if I was under the influence at the time or what. I've started this movie like 3 times. This is the first time I've watched it all the way through. And
I'm telling you, man.
And I've fallen asleep and woken up during like a weird trip and then been like, what is going on? I don't know about this movie, and fallen back asleep. But I like watching this movie this time all the way through, really paying attention. I had a great time. I love it. And I have so many friends whose opinions I respect that love this movie too. And it's really good. What were we going to say, Curtis?
No, I'm telling you, like the first, and if you didn't finish it, like the first time, it doesn't hit like it. I mean, I'm not saying it for some people, maybe it does, but in general, like this is a movie where in this thing you'd already sat through half of it a little bit too much time, a little too much LSD there, Clint.
Yeah.
Or LDS, but it doesn't hit as hard the first time, and like once it starts to kick in and you see all the little threads that they're leaving throughout the whole movie, it really just makes the movie.
It really comes together. And the Coen Brothers movies are always weird. It's just a strange vibe all the way through, and it's a lot of fun. Well, let's start from the beginning, man. So it starts out with
real quick.
Yeah, what do you got?
Real quick. So I saw Flea at the Hole in the Wall. Were you there that night when we were out at Showdown?
No, I would have wet myself. I would have.
You were probably on tour. You were probably on tour or something.
Yeah, I would have lost my mind. I'm a big fan.
So, but here's the deal. So, quick story. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No problem.
So we're all at Showdown, and somebody's girlfriend, I don't remember who it was, somebody was dating at the time, comes over and goes, Flea's at the Hole in the Wall. And she says Flea and John Stamos are at Hole in the Wall. And
what?
Everybody at the table goes, Flea, and I go, John Stamos? And so like a few of us go over there, and we're kind of like walking around the Hole in the Wall, like, and we're looking around, like trying to check it out, and like we don't see anybody, it just looks like a regular night at the Hole in the Wall. It must have been during South by or some crap like that,
For those who don't know, the Hole in the Wall is a long time bar in Austin, Texas. It's been here for ages, and yeah, it's a great spot.
Mm-hmm. Is it still open?
The Hole in the Wall? Yeah, still open.
Yeah. Okay.
No, my buddy just played there the other day.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't lived in Austin for about 10 years now. And so we're looking around, and we don't see it. Looks like a regular night at the Hole in the Wall. The bar's going crazy, of course, and stuff like that. And so but then we walked like to the back, and then we do see Flea, and then somebody points it out. I didn't notice it, and he's like, but he's sitting there real chill. He's like kind of talking like this to somebody, we didn't I didn't want to bother him, and like he's just like obviously having a conversation, but he's like, oh, look, there's Flea, but then as we're walking out, we're leaving, and it's like, and I was like, fuck, we didn't get to see John Stamos. John Stamos was Uncle Jesse, if you don't know, from Full House. Like, we're walking out, and as we're leaving at the bar, it's just going crazy at the bar. But bars are always, the bar is usually always the craziest part.
Yeah.
And at the bar, like, I turn and look, and there's sitting on the bar holding like 2 bottles of liquor. This guy's just going, "I'm fucking John Stamos!" Ah! He's just like, like pouring like liquor and like pouring liquor everywhere. Like, yeah, I'm John Stamos.
Was it John Stamos?
Like, I'm like, it was John Stamos. It was damn sure was.
Wow.
Like, or the best lookalike in the history of the world, but it's just like
That's weird.
Out of his mind. John.
Were they hanging out together?
No. Flea was like hiding out somewhere back.
I mean, I wonder if they went there together. Like, hey,
partying like a.
If they're like, hey, Stamos, should we go to the hole in the wall? And like Stamos was too loud, and he was like, screw this, I'm gonna go to the back, have a quiet conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Stamos is like, I'm living this up, baby.
That's like me and Clink. I'd be up at the front, and Clink would be in the back. I'd be like, I'm gonna go hang out in the back, talk to somebody. Well, awesome. Clink, who is our good buddy, who's watching right now, so he's paying attention, and I think he's team
lurking.
Yeah, he's lurking, as we call it. I think he's team romance, and he's going to call BS on a lot of Curtis's thoughts. So, yes.
Yep.
Shameless Star Trek plug. Yeah. All right. Well, so this movie starts out. Big Lebowski. He's buying milk in a robe in a store, and then he pays with a check. And then he pays with a check, and the check it was like 90 cents or something, which
69 cents.
Yeah, 69 cents, which is hilarious to buy milk with a check. I'm like, oh shit, okay, this is hilarious. Well, first of all, just seeing somebody write a check was a weird flashback, but that's crazy times. But yeah, and so he goes home with his milk, and I love this movie because also I love L.A. and going to L.A. and I've been on, I've had the fortune of being able to travel to a lot of places, and I've had some fun times in Hollywood, and seeing a lot of the scenes in these two movies was really fun for me because it takes place, in
that's a good point. Yeah, that's a really good point.
And so it was fun. So then we see the dude, as he calls it. He named himself the Dude. The movie starts out with Sam Elliott narrating. Like, this is the Lebowski, and this guy named himself the Dude, and it's like, and then he says, beef, it's what's for dinner. And so anyway,
sometimes there's a man. Sometimes there's a man. Well, I forgot what I was going to say, but sometimes there's a man.
Well, you see the Dude go home, and there's 2 guys waiting for him. And it was kind of unsettling seeing somebody get their head slammed into a toilet, I gotta say. And the whole time I'm like, dude, he spilled his milk, because the guys grab him instantly, throw him into the bathroom, and starts putting his head in the toilet, and his milk went everywhere. And I'm like, dude just wrote a check for 69 cents, and now his milk's all over the place. I felt really bad for him. I was really distracting that the milk got spilled. It really was. I kept fixating on the milk. But
don't cry over spilled milk, Clint.
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh.
Then he pulls his shades out of the toilet at one point. That was pretty funny. But yeah, they basically say, "Hey, you're Lebowski, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, no, nobody calls me Lebowski." He's like, "You're Lebowski, your wife." He's like, "I'm not married, man. I'm the Dude." And basically, Lebowski's wife, you find out, owes these guys money. And when it's all said and done, there's a big Lebowski. Not to him. It's another Lebowski, and it's that guy's the one. And he's a billionaire guy, a big millionaire rich dude. And it turns out it's his wife that's blowing money all over town. So after he gets beat up, the milk goes everywhere. It cuts to the bowling alley, which is a cut to one of the greatest American pastimes ever, bowling. I love bowling. I'm a bowling fan.
Bowling.
Do you have your own ball?
I hate bowling.
You suck. I love bowling.
It seems like it would be a power sport, that's right down my alley.
It is a power sport.
No, that's a finesse sport, because you can throw the ball as hard as you fucking want, and it won't go where you want it to go.
Yeah, you gotta have skill.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
And I've got skill and strength and power. It's all about the gear, man. You gotta get the good gear, and then all of a sudden you will get better. Unless you're bowling for soup, that's right. And
True that.
Yeah. those guys are strong and powerful. They're my friends. I know a lot about strong and powerful bowling for soup. Good guys. If they're watching, what's up, gang? Anywho, look, cutting back to this, it's the introduction of Steve Buscemi, John Goodman, and the dude, and he starts telling, and John Goodman plays a guy named Walter, who's a Vietnam vet, and throughout the movie, everything he talks about goes back to Nam, and poor Steve Buscemi. He plays Theodore, and anytime he opens his mouth, Walter's like, "Shut up!" Telling him to shut up, which is hilarious.
Donnie.
Yeah. It's hilarious.
Yeah, Donnie.
What's that?
Donnie.
Yeah, Donnie. What am I doing over here? Shut up, Donnie. What's funny is they got it. If you're
Clint, forget it, Clint. You're out of your element.
I'm not out of my element.
You're out of your element. You're like a small child wandering into a movie and asking what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly what they told him. His name on the cast is Theodore Donnie. Hilarious. But yeah, it's hilarious. Anytime he opens his mouth, the whole thing they tell him to shut up, which is great. But freaking John Goodman is the most annoying character in this movie. He's lovable, you love him, and he's fantastic. But I'm like, dude, the dude screws everything up. The entire movie, John Goodman is screwing everything up the whole time.
He's like the perfect plot device, though, because if he didn't screw everything up, like it wouldn't have, like if he's like a human mulligan, like if he didn't screw it up, like it wouldn't have worked out the way it did. And I will say thank you to that James guy for comparing me to Tim McGraw, because I've been told many a time when I put on weight I do look like John Goodman. I guess I'll take that as a compliment. But like, whenever I have a beard and I put on weight, like I look more like John Goodman than Tim McGraw. But thanks, James, for thinking I look like Tim McGraw.
Hey, I'm looking up at this John Goodman, dude. It's like the spitting image. I'm just kidding. It is a skinny picture. It's a skinny John Goodman, though. It's in your defense. It is a skinny John Goodman picture that I'm looking at.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's fluctuated over the years,
So have I.
Yeah. So have we all. I'm just fluctuating in one direction, but whatever. Yeah. Well, moving on. They're like, dude, you should go, and it's hilarious. They're like, this rug, is it valuable? He's like, it just fills the room. It just finishes the room. It's if
really ties the room together.
That's what it is. Yeah. If John Goodman is watching, he would agree with me. John Goodman is badass. Am I the only one who gives a shit about the rules? Says Rajneesh. Yeah, I've got a note about that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But
I didn't let my buddies die face down in Nam.
So he's like, dude, you should go get your damn money back for that rug. This is crap. That guy's rich, and it's his fault. You should go do that. And that's his way, really. He's like, I don't put up with any crap because and the dude is not really a confrontational dude. You know what I mean? At all. He's like super far out, man. And why didn't the lifeguard rescue the hippie when he was drowning? Because he was too far out, man. Anyway, so you see what I did there? Oh boy, here we go. It's okay. I muted you. I muted him again. No, sir.
Very good.
All right, we're back. Yeah, sorry about that. No, but so he goes up to the old man, and the old man is a son of a bitch. He's mean. The old man Lebowski.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
that guy was mean. Rich old guy in a wheelchair. And I liked the I had to do a double take. I'm like, who's that butler? It's Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And he does such a great job. Dude, we are very worried about this, and like, dude, her life is in your hands. Like, dude, he does such a great job at this role. Go ahead. I'm
And
sorry.
it's like an early role. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yes,
like
very much so. Very much so.
it's really
Yeah.
interesting in both of these movies. Like a lot of these people like became superstars later and were fairly well known. There's a lot of people that already had pretty extensive careers before this, but
But a lot of it was in TV too. Like
mhm,
a lot of them like were TV stars, and then were in
then
this
boom,
movie, and then yeah.
yeah, and so so he meets with him and he's like trying to get his money back, and this old guy isn't having it. He's like, nope, whatever, you hippie, you're probably unemployed. What do you do for a living? And he's not having it. And so finally,
Your
get
revolution is over, Clint. The bum's lost.
so he gets up to leave, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is like walking him out, and he's like, yeah, it was cool, and he just told me to get whatever rug no big deal, get whatever rug I wanted. I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Dude does have a first name. It's Jeff Lebowski.
Yeah, but he just goes by the dude.
Yes, that he tells
Tells
several
people
times in the other movie, I'm the dude.
yeah, I'm the dude. Don't call me Jeff. I'm the dude. He named himself the dude, so that's why we keep calling him the dude. Yeah. So he takes a rug home. I thought it was hilarious. Like, and on his way out, he meets Bunny, who is the legendary actress, award-winning actress, Tara Reid. Yep, that we all know from American Pie. That's right.
Mhm.
Tara Reid. She has him blow on her foot, which I was like, that was like a disturbing, because I felt like she was going to kick him in the face. It's like here, blow on my nails on my foot. And then as soon as you lean over to blow on her foot, she's going to kick you in the face. Is that weird?
A little bit. Kind of want to hear the story behind that, but continue.
About what? No, that's what I thought. That's like when you're a kid and they're like, if your hand is bigger than your face, that you might have this, whatever. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
And then they smack you in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so then it cuts to
That's just like your opinion, man.
well, it cuts over, and he ends up having some White Russians and stuff, and he has and he's checking his messages and whatnot. But it also cuts to the cuts to the bowling alley. And that's where he's like, market zero. And he's like, Smokey went over the line. He's like, I didn't go over the line. Market zero. And he ends up pulling a gun out. That's one of the funniest parts of the show. And yeah, and he's like, market zero. He pulls a gun out and they end up, and I think it's funny because they leave the theater and the cops are called, and they're just very casually sitting in their car while the cops are running into the bowling alley and all the stuff's going on in the background. I'm like, dude, get the hell out of there. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But yeah, so the dude's having White Russians. So that's another thing. I feel like White Russians got famous because of this movie. He's drinking White Russians the whole time. The whole time I was watching this movie, I wanted to have a damn White Russian. White Russians are delicious. If you don't know how to make them, they've got Kahlua and vodka and milk or cream. Yeah, they're really good. And if you add Coca-Cola, a little splash of Coke, it turns it into a Colorado Bulldog. So there you go. There's your bar lesson for the day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, splash of Coke. It kind of does the thing like when you do a Coke float or root beer float, and the fizz causes a texture in the bubbles and stuff.
Oh, okay.
It does that to a White Russian, and it makes it really good.
Ooh,
So I prefer.
I've had a White Russian, and they're all right, but that sounds damn good.
No, you just put a little splash of Coke in there, and you got a Colorado Bulldog. I'm trying not to say Rocky Mountain Oyster because that's not even close to the same thing. Yeah, so he gets a message. For one, the landlord comes by, and was like, "Hey, man, can you go to my performance? I've got a live performance art thing that I'll do." He's like, "Sure, man, I'll do that." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, cool." And it's kind of a weird dude. And he's like, "Oh yeah, hey, the rent is due. It's the 10th. Oh yeah. I'll take care of it. And then I realized he's like the guy's like begging him to come to his performance art, and then he hasn't even paid his rent yet. And he's like a tenant. It's
Right.
pretty funny. He just kind of like, yeah, rent, schment, like
And
whatever.
and here's the thing. So the first time on the first watch, like there's a scene way later, and I'm sorry for jumping ahead, Clint, but like this is how it was for me. I was like, there's a scene way later, and there's this guy doing this stage thing, and he's like going like this, and dancing and doing all this stuff. And you're like, what the fuck is going on here? But like then on the rewatch, you realize he's watching his fucking landlord's performance art, so he doesn't bother him about the rent.
Yeah,
like,
it's exactly what he's doing. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I was like,
But the first time through, it's like, what the hell?
yeah, it's hilarious, and that's just how this dude rules. He just kind of bumbles around,
Yeah.
doesn't pay for anything, doesn't care. It's awesome.
And yet gets away with it completely.
Yeah. Yeah, he's cool. Just a cool dude. Yeah, I'm the dude. Oh, it's awesome. Well, he gets a message that the bunny, the Tara Reid's character, has been kidnapped, which is interesting, and they want him to be the bag man and go basically get her back, and it's weird that they hired this guy to go do that. Like I'm like, why are these rich guys hiring this guy that they pretty much ran off to go drop it's hilarious. They left him a bunch of messages, and finally were like, hey, we don't care about the carpet. Was it him or the wife or the daughter? One of them's like, we don't care about the carpet, just come here.
No, it was
yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah,
We don't care about the
like,
rug.
I was like, yeah, we don't care about the rug, just come. And I think that's hilarious. But yeah, so they have him go. They want him to be the bag man, with $1 million. What is it? $1 million, and he gets to keep a percent. He gets a percentage.
Strong men still cry. Strong men still cry.
Is it $1 million, and he gets a percentage?
Yes, he's gonna get like 10% of that, or like 100 grand, or something like that. But yeah,
Which that was hilarious. But then it gets to the part with the Jesus.
The Jesus, yes. So
one of the favorite standout characters, and I think they're going to do I've heard that they're going to do a spinoff movie of just him, of his character, which will be amazing.
I think they either did or it's coming, or the Jesus Rolls 2019. I haven't seen it yet. Surprisingly, this is one of my favorite movies.
Did it already come out?
Yeah, it came out 2020.
I never saw. I didn't even know. I thought
I never saw it. Yeah,
I thought that was coming soon. I didn't know that was. Wow. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Mm-hmm. Hello, that James guy.
Hello. Yes, everybody hit that like button. All that good stuff.
Barry Keegan's. He might be in it. He very well may be. If he's part of the best cast ever. It's the best cast ever. Best cast ever.
What the hell? How do I not know about this?
I flew under the. I knew it was coming out, and then it just came out. But that's pandemic time, you know.
What
like
the
I got
hell?
to go.
How did I miss this? The Jesus Rolls. Damn it! Now I got to see this. I gotta watch this tonight.
I'm gonna watch it. Yeah.
Wow. Susan Sarandon, Christopher Walken. Man, this is incredible. John Turturro, Bobby Cannavale.
Bobby.
Yeah, this is great. John Hamm.
We are talking about.
Everybody loves Ham.
Big Lebowski right now. Everybody loves Ham. Yeah. Big Lebowski right now. Pete
Davidson. What the hell?
I like that guy.
I'm in disbelief. How did I miss this? This is great. All right, I'm gonna watch this. It's got 2 stars. Now that's not a good sign.
Yeah, I know it wasn't. Apparently, it wasn't Coen Brothers. It was John Turturro.
John Turturro directed it.
And John Turturro's a fabulous actor. I don't know about director. I'm still gonna watch it, but
Yeah.
he's not the Coen brothers.
Mm-mm.
Very few people are.
Well, he started it and wrote it and directed it. So,
No.
well,
The Jesus Rolls is what we're talking about right now.
yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought that was coming in the near future. That's already done. That means I have something to watch tonight. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
He's such a great character. Nobody fucks with the Jesus.
You don't fuck with it.
So he shows up. He's hilarious. Then they go to do the drop off. And John Goodman tags along. What the hell? John Goodman, this is where I was like, dude, John Goodman is screwing everything up. Like, dude could have just cruised along and just made everything happen. But no, John Goodman is screwing this whole thing up. And he decides to keep the money. Yeah, and he puts his underpants in the briefcase.
His skivvies.
His skivvies, yeah. And throws these things, and they throw them off at basically these motorcycle guys end up taking off.
And he's got a machine gun wrapped up in a bag, and he rolls out of the car. He's driving. John Goodman is driving, by the way. Rolls out of the car with the machine gun while driving. He's like, take the wheel, dude. Rolls out of the car, and then the machine gun falls out of his hand, shoots the tire out of dude's car, and shoots dude's car up, and then they crash into something, and then of course the motorcycle guys take off. They're like, fuck this, we're out of here.
I also like that the dude's car is like the punchline of every scene. Every scene, the car gets more and more screwed up. It gets hit, runs into a dumpster, it gets tires shot out. It's like every 5 minutes, it gets stolen. There's constantly something happen. Later, James, constantly something happening to the car, which is hilarious. Yeah. So they basically screw up the drop off. They leave the money in the car and they decide, hey, let's go bowling, of course. And while they're bowling, the car gets stolen with all the money in the car.
Right. They left the whole suitcase that was supposedly full of $1 million.
Hey, don't spoil it. What do you mean supposedly? It's got $1 million in it.
It does. You're right.
And then the daughter, who's played by Julianne Moore, ends up hiring him to recover the money. What's that?
Wow, Bobby makes a good point. The dude never actually throws a ball in the movie.
That's true. Wow. He just hangs out.
He never. They show every other fucking person in that movie bowl except him.
Yeah, he's just hanging out the whole movie, which is weird.
Huh. But yeah, so Julianne Moore is the big Lebowski, the rich Lebowski. That's his daughter, and that's her rug that she bought for her mother. Her mother was actually the one that had all the money, not the father. And so she calls Lebowski. So he reports his car stolen, and he's like, I also had a rug stolen, and then she calls right at that time, and she's like, Mr. Lebowski, I have your rug. It was my mother's. Blah blah blah. And so she calls him, and he goes. She leaves her address, and she goes to see him. That's great trivia, Bobby. That's awesome.
It is good trivia. Yeah, and also, they give him a tow. Like right after they drop him off, all of a sudden the old man shows up, and they're like, "Hey, look, here's the tow," and you don't know it right then, but it ends up being the tow of the Germans, like this girl that's rolling with the Germans, and you're like, "Who are the Germans?" Go ahead. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
I said, "You want a tow, Clint? I can get you towed by 3 o'clock. You want nail polish on it? No problem.
No, that's just weird.
I can get you towed by 3 o'clock. It's not a problem. You fucking tow. Get out of here."
Well, these Germans show up with when he's in the shower, where he's taking a bath. These guys show up in his apartment. Poor dude just keeps getting accosted in his apartment, and these guys show up holding a possum, which is kind of weird. Like, what are they gonna do with that?
It's a
And they,
ferret.
oh, it's a ferret. That's what it was. And they throw it into the tub, like right next to his stuff, and he's like, and that thing is like trying to chomp away at him, and it scares the hell out of him. So. And they basically are like, "Hey, we want that money."
And they say, "You don't give us the money, Lebowski. We come back and we cut off your Johnson."
And one of those Germans is Flea, which is great.
One of those Germans is Flea, and the other one is Peter Stormare, who was in Fargo, who was in. I mean, he's a
he's
character
awesome.
actor.
Yeah, he's really
He
good.
has been in tons of stuff. He's spectacular. I think he was in one of the Harry Potters. He was in some. I mean, he's been in a bunch of stuff. He was one of the guys in Seinfeld. I mean, he's just great, and he's the main one. He's Hungmore. What's his name? His porno name, Hungmore.
Hungus,
and,
Carl Hungus.
Hungus, Carl
Yeah.
Hungus. Yeah. But he's just great in that. Yeah, you don't give us money, we cut off your Johnson. You like this? We will cut off Johnson.
Well, they find the car, and he gets the car. Of course, the money's gone, and he's really having a hard time. He's stoned. I think he gets somebody's following him. I think he crashes.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
the beetle's following him, and he crashes again, and he can't get out. And then he like scoots over to the passenger seat so he can get out of the car. And then he looks over and he sees something in the seat, and he pulls this piece of paper out of the crack in the seat, and he finds this kid's homework, and it's the kid that stole his car. So now he knows who stole his car, so he does some investigative work, and they end up cutting to the scene with his landlord doing the performance art, and they're pretty much him and John Goodman and Donnie and all of them are all sitting around watching this weird dance thing, and then and of course Walter's like, we need to go get that guy, blah blah blah, like and so they go after
of course
the money.
Donnie's like, what guy? Donnie is Steve Buscemi, by the way. What guy, dude? Like, shut up, Donnie. And he's like, he lives over by blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, that's right by the In-N-Out Burger, dude. They've got great burgers.
Shut up, Donnie.
And then they're like, shut the fuck up, Donnie.
Dude, the best part is they end up going to get burgers. That's the funny part. But yeah,
driving back,
they definitely get burgers. But they go to this house, and this kid is well, first the maid lets him in, and there's an old man who's a famous writer who's in an iron lung, which is kind of weird. And this kid has purchased a Corvette that's sitting out in front, and they're like, damn it, dude, he's already starting to spend this money. But you know what? That's just one Corvette. We'll get the money back, and the kid's playing hardball. So John Goodman goes out front, Walter, and beats the hell out of this Corvette with a crowbar. You like that? He's just beating the shit out of this car, which is hilarious. And then the neighbor comes out because it was actually the neighbor's car. And then he gets mad, and to get even, of course, he beats the shit out of the dude's car. So it's pretty hilarious.
Again, the dude's car gets the shit end of it.
Which I'm like, dude, that guy is the root of all evil. Freaking like. John Goodman just screws everything up. Yeah, what's an iron lung? For those who don't know what an iron lung is, it's a giant tube. Looks like a giant water heater, maybe, that a person would be in with their head sticking out, and it compresses and it basically expands and contracts your chest, makes you breathe because your lungs can't do it on their own, which is crazy. Yeah, what's an iron lung? It's a weird thing to see in a movie, that's for sure. And Jackie Treehorn, do you know who that is?
I do know who that is.
Well, let's talk about him.
So, one of the plot points is that they believe that Bunny, the Big Lebowski's wife, kidnapped herself to get the ransom, so that she could pay off the known pornographers that she had been working with, one of which was Jackie Treehorn. So after all of this shenanigans, the dude goes back and he has a message to go to see, or no, yeah, yeah, see Jackie Treehorn, and he goes over to Jackie Treehorn's house, and he's one of the best scenes of the movie. He's playing. I mean, he's just playing it cool, and Jackie Treehorn is a very rich guy. He lives in Malibu. he, he lives in Malibu. He's a very rich guy, like he's got some money. It's just very like Playboy, like hey, thank you Hefner kind of style. They're throwing naked girls around and stuff like that, so he meets Jackie Treehorn, and Jackie Treehorn's like, well, I just want to know who has my money and this and that and blah blah blah. And the dude is like, well, there's many facets to this case, and so on and so forth. And Jackie Treehorn gets a call in the middle of their conversation. And so he's like, and he's writing something on a pad, and he goes, okay. And he rips it off the pad. And he's like, I'm gonna go over here, I'm gonna go to the restroom right quick or something, and he walks off. And the dude, being a detective, walks up and he does the whole pencil shading where you see the imprint of what was before, and it's just a drawing of a dude with a huge cock. Like,
He's like, oh, I gotta see what this message was. I'm gonna go. And it's like a dude with a boner. It's really stupid.
Yeah, he's like, huh? Like, what the? Like,
yeah, that was a good gag. That got me. I was like, what is it gonna be? What's on the pad? I'm like, okay. And then he starts having a weird dream. They give him a drink. Hey, and he's playing it cool. He's like, look, man, I'll tell you where the money is. This teenage kid who left his homework in the car, he's got it. You could go over and get it, but I want 10%. Like, he's trying to negotiate all this. Then he starts getting.
He has gotten zero money at this point. Like, it's 3/4 of the way through the movie. He's gotten zero money. Not even gotten his rug back. Like,
and
all he wanted was his rug.
Yeah, he's kind of ended up in this weird position. But he's kind of like, all right, whatever, I'll go with it. But I want my cut, And so, and then he gets a little wobbly and weird. And then next thing you know, he's having hallucinations. And then he's like stumbling down the middle of the highway. And the Malibu police department picks him up and throws him in jail. Or like, he's basically in the office of the police department. What?
Yeah, he's in the office, and that's another great scene too.
Oh, super good scene. Like, I thought it was a sheriff. Like, no, that's a police chief of Malibu.
Yeah, he's like, he whips his coffee mug at him. Get out of my town!
Yeah, throws a coffee mug at his head. What else? Oh yeah, and then he ends up having to take a cab. After that, and he just got a coffee mug thrown in his head. Then he gets kicked out of the cab because he hates the Eagles. He's like, man, you changed this? He's like, what? He's like, yeah, like, man, this song sucks. And he's like, wait. And he pulls over. He's like, dude, just anything but the Eagles. The Eagles suck. And they're like, next thing you know, he's kicked out of the cab. Super.
Get out of my cab. Get out of my cab.
Which I'm not a fan of the Eagles either. So I totally appreciate that. I like Eagles are overrated.
Yeah,
just saying.
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah, you can disagree with me if you want, but that's just my thoughts.
And he gets home, and Maud, who is the daughter of Lebowski, who had took the other rug that he had taken earlier, is at home at his house. Fly, Eagles, fly.
Hey, and don't forget that right before that happened, though, we see Tara Reid happens to drive by. She's alive and free and driving a car, which was funny.
With two pinky toes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's got both of her feet, and they also showed somebody else that was hanging out with the Germans that had a boot that had an open-toed. It was cowboy boots, but the front was cut off, so they're open-toed cowboy boots, and she had a missing toe. So they basically just staged this whole thing to get a bunch of money. So go ahead.
And so Maud is there, and she's not there for any of this. She's so earlier, when she had met Lebowski, we didn't mention this, but she was doing some art stuff, and she's flying from the ceiling, and she actually kicked him in the face, and so she gives him the gives him a doctor to go see. He goes and sees the doctor, but it was mainly to see if he had, good
If he was
genes,
fertile, yeah.
basically. Yes, uh, and so she wants to have sex with him. And his apartment is torn to hell because Jackie Treehorn just came or had his thugs come and tear it all to pieces and stuff like that. And so she's explaining to him like that her father is like doesn't have any money. He's never had any money. It was all her mother's money. Uh and she just wants the money back to give to the foundation that he stole it from. And it clicks for Lebowski. He's like, well, okay, wait a minute. And he realizes, spoiler alert, that the father was in on it all along.
Yeah, he's like, why would he hire me? I'm a dumbass.
Yes.
Why would he hire me
like,
to do this?
And then he's like, oh, I'm a dumbass. That's why he hired me to do this.
I like that he calls Walter. He's like, dude, you got to come pick me up. And he's like, I can't come, Arab Shabbos. He's like, what, Arab Shabbos? He's like, I can't. And it's because he was married to a Jewish lady and he converted to Judaism. And it's like, and Sabbath begins on sundown on Friday and continues all the way to sundown on Saturday. And you don't work or do anything unless it's an absolute emergency. So he's like, it is an emergency. But also, he was like, yeah, Arab Shabbos, like during the bowling tournament too. I told you I can't do that on Friday. And it's hilarious.
I was gonna fuck you on Saturday. Now I fuck you on Wednesday. Says the Jesus.
Oh, it's super hilarious. He also meets the private investigator. It turns out that the investigator was hired by Tara Reid's parents. Yeah.
Right. Completely other plot line. Yes.
Yeah. And they go to the Big Lebowski's house basically to call him out. Be like, dude, you orchestrated this whole fucking mess and hired us because you knew we would screw this up. And which is hilarious that they've come to this realization and they're going to do that. And of course, who screws it up? Walter screws it up, pulls him out of his wheelchair. He's like, I've got a lot of friends who are in wheelchairs. You're faking, which is hilarious. Pulls him out and he's like, it's like, dude, you just pulled a handicapped guy. Yeah, you just pulled a handicapped guy out and dropped him on the floor.
Throws him on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, and the Jesus calls BS on the Sabbath shit. I call bullshit. Yeah. What else I got here? I wrote some notes here. John Goodman fucks up the Germans. This is hilarious. The Germans show up.
So after they decide, they figure it out. Everything's figured out, right? It's settled. They figure out the Big Lebowski had embezzled the money to give to himself. Tara Reid, he didn't even want anything to do with her. Like, that was his trophy wife, and he was like, screw her. And the Germans, he hired the Germans, and he was like, I don't give or the nihilists, who I don't care about them, and after all of that, they go back and they're just bowling again. And then after they're bowling again, what happened, Clint?
No, they end up fighting the Germans.
They walk outside and dude's car is on fire.
Yeah, like again with his car, his poor car, dude. Again, yeah. Like, dude, why are you burning my car? And they're like, dude, you give us the money. He's like, there was no money. He's like, we would kill the girl. They're like, dude, the girl's not kidnapped. You don't have the girl. Why'd you burn my car, man? And it's very casual. And it's like, you give me what you have in your pockets. Give me what you have in your pockets, and we will call it even. and Walter's not having it. He's like, fuck. No. And at this point, you've seen Walter pull a gun out for not wanting to change the score, put 0 on the scorecards. Walter's not having this, and Walter basically whoops the Germans' asses, and it's glorious. And there's guns involved, and it's pretty gnarly.
A sword,
So
bowling balls, and a stereo.
it's pretty
Like they're
good.
standing in front of the bowling ball or the burning car, like blasting their techno music. Because remember they made an album,
Oh yeah, they were a
whatever it is,
band. They were what were they called?
and whatever Autobahn or something.
Autobahn. That's what they were called, which is hilarious name. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And so they're standing there with their stereo, like looking cool, like what you gonna do, Lebowski? Give us the money.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. It's it's this movie. Like we're sitting here going through all the scenes talking about it. It's like it's one of those things that isn't really well created. Verbally, like we're having fun talking about it, but it's like you got to watch this movie. It's ridiculous, and the stupidest things. They're just funny when you watch them, and this movie does that. Poor Steve Buscemi's character, Donnie, ends up dying, and they're like, "Did he get shot?" He didn't get shot. He had a heart attack during. It was a big commotion. They're like, it's like a serious fight, and he had a heart attack, died. So they're back at the funeral home, and he wants to charge him a bunch of money. They're like, no, we're not going to pay for that urn and all this, and it was pretty funny. So finally, they're like, dude, we're just going to spread the ashes. Like, we don't need a fancy thing. And they're like, that's our cheapest receptacle is this. So finally, John Goodman goes next door and buys a coffee can, and they put him in the coffee can, which is hilarious. Yeah. This is our most modestly priced receptacle. So they go out and spread the ashes, dump them off a cliff, and I saw this one coming. He dumps them off the cliff, and the wind blows them all over the dude. Dude's covered in Donnie's ashes, which is just hilarious. He's like, "Sorry, man," and of course he starts talking a bunch of Vietnam stuff again. He's like, "Dude, why do you got to make this about Vietnam again?" Like, yeah. And then after that, they go bowling. And I thought it's beautiful. You know what I mean? Like these guys, it's just simple dudes hanging out. They like to go bowling. And after all this crazy thing, they go over and get hired to solve this case and to deliver the money and to get the money back and go through all this. They figure out it's all a bunch of baloney. And when it's all said and done, they just go back. They lost a friend, and then they go back to the normal life of bowling.
And they've gotten zero money. Dude didn't get his rug back. Like that's what I mean. Like it's just life back to like they went through this grand adventure, and it's just back to like normal. Like there was no like.
Which leads
he didn't get paid. He didn't get like there was nothing.
Got nothing. And which leads me to wonder is one, is he going to get child support if she gets pregnant? And two.
No. She specifically said, "I want someone who is not like does not even want it to be involved." And he was like, "Oh, okay then."
All right, that's cool. And then I thought it was really weird that like the narrator shows up. It's Sam Elliott shows up at the end and is talking to him. It's almost like I'm like, dude, is he like an angel or like God, or it's like he's a weird presence that just shows up and talks to him for a minute. Hey, how are you doing? Blah blah blah. Yeah. The dude abides.
And I think like so much of it happened in conversationally and within the bowling alley. He might have just been some guy sitting at the bar the whole time, ordering sarsaparillas and heard the whole damn story, like because like if they weren't actively doing it, they were talking about it at the bowling alley. Like, or I mean, he may have been an angel and stuff like that.
I don't know. He's just such a weird character. It's almost like he knows more and he's involved and he's super nice, and it's just there's something weird about his character. Then again, it's like, I mean, kind of in plays and things, there's a narrator that's like like knows everything. Yeah. And I guess that's kind of the role he's playing. Is like it's kind of weird.
Absolutely.
It's kind of weird, but it's a weird movie. It's a weird script. And maybe it was a play. Like I could see this movie being a play. Like if you think about it, like the way it plays out. But yeah,
that just happened.
Yeah. Who do you think's the most important character in this movie? Like
Who is the most?
Yeah, like that. Like, I mean,
Oh, maybe it is Donnie's ghost. Wow. Well,
Truman
uh,
Capote.
the most important
Yeah,
character.
or like the most. I mean, who's the MVP in this movie? Like,
it's got to be the dude. I, I wish I could live a life like the dude. Like, I think almost everybody does. Like, so apparently the genesis of this movie was the Coen brothers were fans of detective movies,
yeah,
and they had this friend named Jeff that was basically like a dude type character, and they're like thought in their brains, well, what if Jeff had to solve a detective, drama? Like,
sorry about
what if
that.
he had to solve, you know, so they wrote this movie, like basically, like what if some stoner guy had to like solve, be a detective, and that's what they based the movie on. That's why they made the movie.
Let's write a
And
movie about Jeff.
yeah, exactly. Like really, like and but honestly, like I wish I could be like that. Like I wish I could just like live life like I'm kind of an ambitious person. Like where it's worked out well for me. Don't get me wrong, it's
Yeah,
fine. But like I just man,
you could
if I could live like the dude, it'd be amazing.
you
Like,
could do that if you had like a some kind of like you won the lottery and you had like like monthly
but he
income
didn't.
that came in
Like,
or anything where it's like you didn't worry about bills, then you could live like that. But he's got he's got bills, but he doesn't care. He just like whatever,
He's
man.
living in He's living in LA. Like
Yeah, just kind of bumbling around.
it's a crummy apartment, but it's still he has a
Still an apartment.
freaking shelter. Yeah, he has an apartment. Like and he can go like play bowling or bowl every other, night. Like that would be amazing. But
I kind of know people like that live here in this town and just kind of
for sure. Yeah.
bumble around and like go to the
Fall ass
bar,
yeah.
go to the
Fall into
bar,
money. Like
kind of just casually hook up with people, casually go
yeah.
home. Their simple apartment, and it's like it's weird.
Yeah. It is like, oh wait, money just comes from somewhere. I don't know where it comes from, but it comes from somewhere. Like
Yeah, that's funny, man.
I don't know.
Well, definitely an amazing cast. Definitely an amazing movie. Well written movie. Definitely one of a kind and a treasure. Cinematic treasure.
Yes. Yes.
Definitely. And I don't know, though, how you could even come close to comparing that cast with the cast of True Romance. What the hell?
We're
gonna talk about that. But before we do, a special looping message from our sponsor.
Yes.
When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone. When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone. When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. now the dopamine's gone.
Yes, sir. That was a good one.
Absolutely.
What an
Welcome
excellent.
back.
Hey, good to be back. Man, oh man. So we talked to Big Lebowski. Now it's time to talk about another favorite
There's
movie.
That other movie.
And Mel Kennedy says the greatest commercial break ever. That's right. It's pretty good.
Are you trolling us? Are you trolling us, Mel?
Are you trolling us?
When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone.
Okay,
What-
thank you.
Wait, are you trolling us still? Just kidding. JK. Oh, yeah. Holy smokes, man. So
So there's another movie out there that people say has a very good cast.
what movie could we be talking about? Well, I will say True Romance.
Norbert. Oh, never mind.
Clifford the movie. Really good movie. Why does that keep happening? All right, let's see here. All right. People say they
Norbert
like
does have a very good cast. Norbert has a great cast. It's just a terrible movie.
People say that they are tired of comic book movies. Well, a comic book nerd and Elvis fanatic, Clarence, who's played by Christian Slater, and a prostitute named Alabama, who's played by Patricia Arquette, fall in love. Clarence breaks the news to her pimp and ends up killing him. He grabs a suitcase of cocaine on his way out, thinking it is Alabama's clothing. The two hit the road for California, hoping to sell the cocaine, but the mob is soon after them. What a fantastic movie with an all-star cast. Holy smokes. We got Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Gary Oldman, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, James Gandolfini, Samuel Jackson, Michael Rappaport, Bronson Pinchot, who's Balky, Chris Penn, who is Sean Penn's brother, Saul Rubinek, Anna Thompson, who's Lucy, John Sizemore, who's the poor man's Michael Madsen. Holy smokes. And the list goes on. Gregory Sporletter, who's a burger stand guy. I recognize him from other stuff. We got Kevin Corrigan. There's so many people in this movie. You're watching the whole time. You're like, oh, I remember that guy from this. I remember that guy from this. I remember that guy from this. It's a fantastic. Jack Black's even in this movie. What?
Wait, where's Jack Black?
I don't know what he plays, but he's listed, which means it's probably just a young Jack Black. He's probably an extra. But holy crap, man! Holy crap! Yeah. So when was the last time you saw True Romance?
Today, literally
Before that.
minutes. Before that, it probably been a while, but I mean, every few years, I mean, because I had to rebuy it. I was actually surprised. Like, I went through like I'm a physical media guy, and I own DVDs, Blu-rays, all that good stuff. Whenever I need money, I sell them back, or to half price books or whoever. And I was very surprised I didn't have this movie. I was like, fuck yeah, okay, I got this movie, and I was like, I didn't have it, so I had to rebuy it. So I mean, I'd say 5 years probably at the most. Yeah, that sounds about right. So about 5 years since I've seen it.
Dude, I haven't seen this movie in 20 years. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in forever. Now, I've seen this movie a lot of times. Back then, I used to live with our buddy Chris back in the old days when we first moved to Austin, and we had this movie on repeat.
But he doesn't really like this movie though.
He loves this movie. Crazy person. And we had this movie on repeat. Like, he's got artwork in his house that of this movie. You know what I mean? So it's but yeah, we used to have this movie on repeat, and it's definitely the ultimate romance. It's over the top.
That's why it was on. I had seen it a lot more because it was for Valentine's Day. Whenever there would be romantic movies and stuff, we'd watch all the stupid romantic comedies that my wife likes. I mean, well, to each their own. But and I was like,
I don't watch
okay, let's
romantic
watch
stuff.
No, but I was like, to me, like True Romance was a good romantic movie.
Can we watch Terminator again?
Terminator was on the list as well, and The Jerk. Actually, The Jerk was on.
The Jerk's a great movie
for romance movies. Like, to me, that's one of the greatest romance movies ever. Like, and it just doesn't make it on girls' lists a lot. So that I would watch it, or make her watch it, and not make her watch it. She enjoys the movie as well, but for Valentine's, around that time of year. So we'd watch it fairly often.
Well, one of my favorites is Love Actually, and I don't usually have a hard time convincing that has a fantastic cast, but Love Actually, it's like a Christmas movie, and it's really good. Liam Neeson's in it, and Hugh Grant and Keira Knightley, and guy who plays Rick Grimes on Walking Dead, Carl, and it's just a fun Christmas movie, and all the different stories all tie together at the end. That's one of my favorite super casts of any film, and it's just a feel good Christmas movie. Guess what?
Liam Neeson does Liam Neeson kill everybody?
He's like, I've got a particular set of skills, and they go after. No, that
Merry
didn't happen.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, you dirty bastards.
Yeah, Carl. Rip. So let's talk about True Romance.
Yes.
Yeah, True Romance is a fun movie, and it's how romantic. I would love to.
Fun.
It's a effed
It
up
is
movie.
romantic.
It is an effed up movie, but like,
Yeah.
how crazy would it be to like the relationship these two have? It's like, it's just so messed up, but they have just a crazy love for each other. I don't know. It's just a crazy movie. It's a wild movie. So it starts out with Christian Slater hanging out to the bar, and I had a realization too watching this movie. I'm like, dude, all these action movies from the 90s, there's a lot of like words in these movies that were in movies that you can't say anymore. And it's like, we had I'll have a Coke scene. You got like dropping an F, homophobic F-bomb in the first line of the movie. Like, hey, I'm not F-bomb or anything, but
Right.
but I'd F Elvis, I'm like, holy smokes, dude, I didn't even remember that line. And
I remember that.
you know what I mean? And then you got like Drexel, who, in a scene with Samuel Jackson, and Drexel is Gary Oldman's character. That's later, but you know what I mean? And he's like, and I've watched some interviews and stuff. Basically, so like Drexel thinks he's black, and there's some N-bombs in these too. There's a lot of different bombs going on there's
a ton of N-bombs in this movie.
I'm watching this movie. There's a lot of shit that I can't say on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, but I'll say he's talking to a blonde girl at a bar, invites her to a movie. And she's like, you want to invite me to a Kung Fu movie? He's like, I want to invite you to 3 Kung Fu movies. It's a triple feature. And she's like, sorry, not my thing. And I thought it was cool because he ends up at a Kung Fu movie, and a beautiful blonde girl comes in, spills popcorn on him, and like they have this encounter where like they meet each other, and that is her thing. And they end up like liking each other, and then end up going and like, hey, you want to hang out after this? She ends up sitting next to him in the theater. And I'm like, dude, that kind of stuff never happens to me. And then first of all, because I'd be like, hey, can you shut the hell up? Because I get mad when people talk in the movie. She goes over the seat. She's like, hey, can you tell me what happened? And I go, hey, why don't you come back in 2 hours when the
Clint would be
movie's
like-
over? I'll fucking tell you all about it. In fact, why don't you go check out my YouTube channel and I'll tell you about it next week. But I don't talk in movies, okay? I would not have ended up with Patricia Arquette because I would have told her, or is it Rosanna Arquette? It's Patricia. But
Patricia, yeah.
either Arquette, because I would have been like, I'd be like, lady, don't talk during the movie. Yeah, I don't like that. Somebody comes and sits right behind me and I'm in an empty theater, I get up and move to another seat. I get mad. I'm like, you had the whole theater and you chose to sit next to me. Now I can hear you going, clearing your throat or tapping your foot or whatever stupid stuff you're going to do. Why are you sitting next to me? I don't care about germs. I'm like, I don't want to hear you breathing. Leave me alone. I sat uncomfortably close to the screen to avoid all people. And here you are, right next to me. Patricia Arquette. Why don't you take a hike, lady? That would never happen. That would, in my mind, I would want to say that. And then I'd see Patricia Arquette and be like, hi. But anyway, so they end up going, she spills her popcorn on him, then lights a cigarette in the theater, which was a crazy flashback because when I was a kid, I remember my dad used to light cigarettes in the movie theater. And I remember watching Indiana Jones with my dad. My dad like smoking a cigarette in the theater, which is crazy time. I remember being on airplanes too, and my dad lighting a cigarette in the airplane, which is a crazy, crazy thing to see in this day and age. But yeah. Then after the movie, they go for pie, which was great. Like, hey, I like to talk about movies and eat pie after a movie. You want to do that? And he's like, yeah, I'll go eat pie with you. And then they go and they're having a good time, like hanging out. Maybe they recognize me. Am I famous? No, I don't think I'm famous. And then famous for sitting close to the screen at a movie theater. And so they go and eat pie and they're hanging out and talking, and then he's like, hey, you want to go to my comic shop? Which that sounds creepy. They end up at the comic shop, and he's showing her like comic books, and they're hanging out, and then she really likes him. They hit it off. Like there's just a connection between them, and they end up getting it on. And then like after, which was a pretty intense. Like I'm like, this is sounding like a super dream come true. Can you imagine going? Like, I'm like, I can't imagine going to. I go to movies by myself all the time. I'm gonna go to a movie by myself. I'm gonna watch
every comic book nerd's dream. Yes.
It's a super nerd dream. Like, I'm gonna go watch a triple kung fu movie by myself, and randomly, smoking gorgeous Patricia Arquette's going to come in and spill her popcorn on me. Then we're going to end up sitting together, and then we're going to end up eating pie. I love pie. Then we're going to go eat pie together, and then after that, I'm going to go tell her about this comic, and like, oh yeah, this happened, and
she's going to be super interested. Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow. But like, yeah, and then the guy throws the ring out. And then the guy jumps into the water to go rescue the ring. And I'm like, is this a story about Nicolas Cage? That's really weird. That wasn't that story in the comic that he was telling her? I think he tells her a story about that.
I was just thinking Legend. That's what happens in Legend as well.
He's telling her a story about a comic, and they're like, yeah. Then the guy takes the ring and throws it into the water, and the guy jumps after the ring. But then I'm like, wait, was that Nicolas Cage that jumped after the ring?
I think, wow, man. That's a rabbit hole right there.
Yeah, that's weird. And then they end up getting it on, and he wakes up. And Patricia Arquette's gone, and she's out smoking a cigarette, and she comes clean. He like goes out and is like, hey, what are you doing out here in his best Jack Nicholson impression? And she's like, because remember in the 80s, Christian Slater sounded like young Jack Nicholson, and
in the 90s and in the 2000s,
and so she comes clean and says, hey, your boss hired me to basically to go sleep with you. He wanted you to get laid on your birthday, and you seem like a nice guy, and now I'm in love with you. And he's like, I love you too. Are you just saying that? No. Okay, cool. Then let's get married. And they basically he's like, I don't care that you're a call girl. First he called her a hooker, I think, and then she was like, I'm a
whore,
call girl.
yeah.
There's a whore. Yeah, there's a difference. And I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough. And I mean, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. And she's like, no, I like you. You're a nice guy. And I've only been doing this for 4 days. I just moved out here. Okay, cool. And then he's like, yeah, well, I like you. And we get along. And it was just like love at first sight. And bam. And so now they decide to go get married. And they go get married at the courthouse. Then they get tattoos.
Mm-hmm.
Then.
As you do.
As you do. Then Elvis shows up and really screws everything up. I'd say, if Elvis hadn't showed up, and they could have just hung out, like, it'd have been fine. But Elvis had to show up and tell Clarence. Yeah, had to tell Clarence. Oh, I like you, Clarence. Always have, always will. But he told him, hey man, I think you need to go kill Drexel. What? Yeah, you need to go kill his ass.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you're right.
Mm-hmm.
He does. But I wish Elvis would visit me. Like, you don't understand the household I grew up in. So
you don't understand the household I grew up. Look at my hair, for Christ's sakes.
Like, Elvis, like, so naming your child Elvis is like whenever I hear, there's just plenty of kids named Jesus and Jesus and stuff like that. We talked about the Jesus, but like whenever I meet somebody named Elvis, it's like, how dare you? Like, like what? Like Elvis is.
What's your name? Elvis Aaron Baker.
Yes, I mean exactly. Like I want to. I don't test me. I've wanted to, but it's like, to me that's almost like blasphemy. Like, Elvis is like. Yes, Val Kilmer plays Elvis. Your mom loves it. Like, you don't like. So I literally, like, whenever Elvis movies were on, and I would be making fun of them as a child.
Always have, always will.
Because I was a kid, I would get in so much trouble. I would like my dad was an Elvis freak, and I get it now. Like, I love the King. Like, the King he's the King. Like, it's this. So for all of our overseas fans, like, you have the Queen. Like, Elvis is literally American royalty over here. Like, he is like, Elvis drove up to the White House and was like, I want to talk to the president. And they're like, okay, like, it's the fucking King. Like, let's go. Like, they just let him in.
Up.
Like, he just fucking showed up. And Nixon's like, hey, Elvis, what's happening? Like, Elvis is like, he's fucking Elvis. Like, and one of my favorite lines from Sin City is like, he said, like, whenever he's drowning and he's like, you're Jesus, you're an angel, you're Jesus, you're Elvis. And like, that's the last line. It's like, Elvis is fucking like,
Elvis is kind of a big deal.
He's
kind of a big deal.
Little bit.
Dude, I got some hold on here. I gotta see her real quick.
I mean, I've read more biography about Elvis than I have read pages of the Bible. Like, there are more, therefore I have read more, but like, Elvis is.
Are you trying to say you're a bigger Elvis fan than I am?
A little bit, maybe, yeah. You want to throw down? You can throw down.
Dude, have you ever seen have you ever read The Colonel? That's an excellent book.
Right.
The Colonel?
That's what the new movie's been. Have you seen the preview for the new movie?
The book. Have you read the book? Good. The book, The Colonel?
I have not read. No.
You got to read that book, dude. It's a fantastic book. I like, it's amazing, and it talks about a whole bunch of behind the scenes stuff that like about Elvis. It's really, really good. A lot of business stuff and things you wouldn't even know, that like, where he must have had some kind of dirt on Elvis, because I mean, there was a point where he was like, I think he was taking up to 75% of his take.
Oh.
And it was like 50 for a long time.
being famous at fucking 18 and you're trusting this guy,
Mhm.
you know? Like, I mean, fuck. Like,
And I want to say,
come on.
I don't. How do you feel about the guy they cast for Elvis in that Tom Hanks movie? I don't think he looks like Elvis at all. He sounds like him. He talks like him.
Well, no, but
Have you seen
like
Have you seen the trailer for it?
the only person I've liked they've casted as Elvis is Kurt Russell. Like, honestly, like, well, Val Kilmer was fine in this, but they didn't show him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Val Kilmer, he actually did great in this, but they didn't show him. It was fine. Wait, Mel, what are you talking about? Adolf? What? Oh, for opposite reasons. No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
Hey,
Elvis did so much for his community. Elvis did, like, when you read about Elvis, like, it's not just name. It's like he really did so much, man.
The other crazy
Like,
thing about Elvis is he wasn't allowed to play, and like right about the time they talk about it in that book I was talking about, the Colonel. Right about the time he was about to lose his mind and just flip shit and just freak out, the Colonel will be like, "Fine, I'll let you play a live show." He just had him doing these movies and things. And they finally, okay,
yeah.
I'll let you do a live show. So Elvis, it would be a charity thing, and Elvis would end up having to hire all the musicians, pay them out of his pocket, and like rent the location and pay for it out of his pocket, and paid for everything out of his pocket. So like when a normal musician plays a show, he gets paid. Elvis had to buy the show and pay everyone involved just for the privilege of playing a show. And they would turn
he could actually, like, I want to play fucking music.
I want to go play a show.
Like,
They're like,
music.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, you're gonna have to rent the venue. You're gonna have to hire the music. He would have to do all this stuff, and it actually cost Elvis money every time he played a show, and which is pretty crazy. But I've got something.
So who? Okay, we're not okay. We're old, but
Yep.
who's the most famous person in the world right now? I don't even know. Like, it's hard to say nowadays, but like, and plus we're fucking old. You know, like, but so I always used to say Justin Timberlake. Now that's fucking 20 years ago. Like,
Yeah, that's old school.
you know, yeah, but I'm just saying, like, imagine Justin Timberlake, and they're like, you got drafted for war, you got to go, like, or whoever it is, like, you know, the most famous fucking person in the world, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna go. Now, of course, he didn't go, and he wasn't on the front lines and all that shit. Fair enough, like, I get that, but he's like, this is my duty, I'm gonna go. Like, he got straight up drafted. He didn't volunteer for no army or nothing like that. They drafted his ass, and like, he went to the fucking army.
He did. He's
Like,
a Southern boy, dude. He did his.
Yeah.
He did his thing. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's kind of like I was watching a thing talking about Elon Musk, whether or not he's supposed to show up to the Johnny Depp trial, to testify, and they were talking.
Johnny Depp.
The Johnny Depp trial again, like him versus Amber Heard. I shouldn't even say their names on here because that actually screws up your, like, the YouTube doesn't like it. But and they were talking about whether or not, like, Elon Musk would even show up because he's so rich. What are they going to do? Fine him for not showing up? He could just pay the fine. It's not you're like, what are you gonna? Okay, fine me. I don't want to show up because this could cause drama for me. I'm just not going to show up. Like, Elvis didn't do anything like that. He just showed up and went to war.
He's like, hey man,
so,
you know, they
so
call
check it
my
out.
number. I'm going.
So check it out. I got we got the 5 degrees of separation and all that thing to, like, the Kevin Bacon game and all that. Well, I auditioned for and they have auditions in this movie where you got Michael Rappaport is auditioning for a show of TJ Hooker in this movie.
TJ Hooker.
Yeah. But I auditioned to play Elvis.
For TJ Hooker?
No, to play Elvis in an Elvis movie. I auditioned with Mary Jo Slater, who is a legendary casting director in L.A. Legendary, and is also Christian Slater's mom.
Okay.
And I auditioned, and I did so well that I got a call back to go back, and I auditioned a second time with the director and the producer of the movie. And the guy who actually got cast for it was Jonathan Rhys Meyers, who plays Henry
the Scottish guy.
Henry
Yeah, the
VIII
Scottish
on
guy.
in The Tudors.
Oh wow, you were a second callback for that.
I got a callback for that movie, that Elvis movie.
That show. It was
Yeah, I could have had I done a better job on the callback. Apparently, I did so well on the first one that I actually got a callback, which is great. Like the cast, and she's not a bullshit casting director. She's legit.
Right.
And they're like, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I was completely bluffing. I'm like a lead singer. I love Elvis, and I'm gonna do.
You want me to sing? You want me to act?
And it was a real like.
both.
This was like an emotional thing, and I was like, gotta, Mama, I'm sorry, Mama, blah blah blah. And I went and I was doing my Elvis impersonation. And at the time, I was younger and skinnier and had big hair, big stupid hair, and I got a call back. I was like, holy shit! I had to change my flight. I was supposed to fly back to Austin from L.A. and they're like, dude, you got a call back. What? Yeah, you got to change your flight. So I had to change my flight back and stay there. And I ended up in front of the director and the producer, and then they didn't hire me. So I don't know if I bombed it or if that guy. I mean, the dude's a badass actor. He's a Jonathan Rhys Meyers is a fantastic actor. So and me, I was a Columbia Records singer. They're probably like, this guy kind of looks like Elvis. Give him enough makeup, and he could probably sing the soundtrack. I wonder if he can sing like Elvis. This will be great. I don't know. But anyway, I'm
awesome.
connected to Christian Slater's mom. Also, auditioned for Elvis. So there you go.
Wow.
So I could have been, you could have said, hey, dude, who was the best Elvis that you think? And I would have been like, me, bitch. I did it.
Yeah.
Bam. But I didn't.
Done.
But
Done
I didn't.
and done.
But I didn't make it. Oh, well. So going back to the movie, we're getting back into this movie. They get married at the courthouse. They get
So
tattoos.
we just need to, real quick, we need to make a whole episode where we just fucking talk about Elvis for like 6 hours.
I'm in. Well, let's, I'll push that, I'll up the ante. We'll compare, we'll pick the best and the worst Elvis movie.
Ooh,
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe we could do
That's
that. I
good.
don't know.
I like that.
Maybe we'll do two of the best and see which one's the best one.
Mel says
mom
my
would
mom would
watch.
watch. Like, yeah,
She'd be the only one. It'd be me and Curtis and your mom online. That'd be it.
Yeah.
Dude, we got three views on this video. It's great.
It might be our biggest rewatch ever, though. Like, this fucking like he makes more money living or dead than the biggest star alive. Like that's what I mean. Like it's insane. The only person to ever beat him was when Kurt Cobain died. He beat him for a year, and then when Michael Jackson died, he beat him for a year. Like, and then otherwise it's Elvis every year. More money than any other person, alive or dead, makes
That's wild. Well, let's move on with this movie here. We have to truck on. So Drexel, we get the scene with Drexel, Sam Jackson, where they're talking about eating.
Punana.
Yeah, thank you. I was looking for a good P word. And Drexel kills the guys, basically kills everybody, and that's the introduction to Drexel. And you're like, dude, this guy's a bad mofo. And I watched a cool behind the scenes interview with Gary Oldman talking about this role, and he said, yeah, there was a guy on the set of I don't remember if he said a makeup or lighting guy or something that had dreads like that on a set, and he basically. They pitched the role to him, and they're like, yeah, it's basically a pimp who thinks he's black, and he's a really bad dude. He goes, I'll do it. And it sounds good. I think, like, Gary Oldman's a character actor, and he's like, this is unlike any character I've ever done. So,
right.
And so he based the hair off of somebody that he worked on another movie with, and he's like, cool, he got the dreads, and then the eye, and then it's the scars and all that, and he was like, okay, and this is it. This is my character. And they're like, dude, that's great. Like, he's like, I thought maybe they're going to say it was too much, but they were like, no, they loved it. And I was like, it's one of the most iconic
for
character
sure.
Bad guys in any crime movie is Drexel's character. Like, And Gary Oldman, like I'm sitting here, I can look at his picture. He's such a nice guy. Like, you know, he's a little older now, and he just looks like a smiling, nice guy. You know, you see him, he's Commissioner Gordon or like whatever he plays. He's such a nice guy. He's such a motherfucker in as Drexel. That is such a bastard of a character, and like he's so good in that character, and just mean. You know what I mean? Like mean, yeah.
I mean, just a fucking horrible human being, and that's they repeat it throughout the movie. Like whenever his dad's like later on, like yeah, you did the right thing, fucking killing this guy. Like everybody like kind of reassures him like later on, like yeah, it's a good job killing this fucking guy. Like he was a fucking scumbag.
I almost feel like the script doing that, like everybody backing up what he did, almost like builds up the character even more. You know what I mean? More than just what we see. It's just like everybody agrees this guy's a piece of crap. So we're like, yeah, that's the worst villain ever.
Yeah. I mean, he was like, he's a mad dog. We had to put him down, you know? Like, and it's true. Like, he's a fucking scumbag.
Well, so he goes in, and he goes, I want to see Drexel. And he goes in, he kills Drexel. And when I say he, I'm talking about Clarence. Clarence goes in, kills Drexel, takes Alabama's clothing, leaves, and it turns out it wasn't Alabama's clothes. It was a big suitcase full of drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it's really funny leading up to that part, though. He ends up talking with Elvis in the bathroom, and Elvis tells him to kill Drexel.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, but he's like, I don't know if I can get away with it. He's like, if you can get away with it, this guy's the sorriest piece of garbage ever. Yeah. The cops are basically going to be glad, so it'll be open and shut case. And then he's like, I like you, Clarence. Always have, always will.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. And it's so good. So he goes over.
Come talk to me. Come talk to me, Elvis.
Yeah. He goes over to get her stuff. Drexel and his guys rough Clarence up, and he's like, dude, somebody told you it was White Boy Day. It's not White Boy Day.
It ain't White Boy Day.
Yeah.
Hey, wait.
And
is it White Boy Day, Clint?
No, it's not White Boy Day. No.
White Boy Day.
Well, it turns out it was White Boy Day. They beat the shit out of him, and Drexel doesn't F around. He jumps across the table. He's kind of like a giant Fraggle. Like he wow, like he jumps like a gremlin or something. He jumps across the table, and they're fighting all over the floor. And when it's all said and done, he ends up killing these guys and leaves his license in their hand.
Yes.
Yeah, which is the biggest mistake because it's the biggest mistake. And go ahead.
So afterwards he goes to his father, who is an ex-cop. He's a security guard now, was an ex-cop.
Before he does that, though, he goes back, and it's one of the best lines. And me, given my musical background, there's some samples that are in like a giant Fraggle. Yeah, there's some samples and some music that I like. If you've ever heard the Cripples, he goes home and tells Alabama what he did, and she starts crying, and he's like, hey, why are you crying? And he's like, hey, he's not worth one of your tears, and she's like, what? So, and he's like, do you love him? Do you freaking love him? And he's dropping F-bombs. And she's like, I think what you did. He goes, what? I think what you did. What? I think what you did was so romantic. It's the best line ever in any movie, and it's a quote in my buddy's song, and it's so good though. It's like he comes back and she starts crying, and it's like you think she's like, oh, you fucked up, or I can't believe you're a murderer. I just married a murderer or something. No, she just thinks it's romantic, and they're like, great, everything is hunky dory. So now we just need to take all these drugs, get the hell out of here. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
I don't know now.
Yeah, well, Dad gets off work. He's got a dog. He's going back to his trailer. They show up and they're like, Dad, I'm married. We got married, and now and then he sends her off to the this is definitely not 2022 because he's like, here, Here, woman, go get some beer. Gives her some money. Make me a sandwich and get me some beer.
Well, but no, yeah,
I'm just
but
kidding.
I don't. I mean, no, you're kind of right. But honestly, if I went and visited my wife's family and she was like, "Hey, can you go get us some beer?" Because it's her family. Like, yeah, I get that. Okay, all right. It's not my family. Like, I'll go get the beer. Like, it's fine.
And also, it's like, hey, I need to talk to my dad,
yeah, of course.
privately. That's
I get
really
that.
what it was.
Yeah.
And I like how when she came back, she's like, "There's new chicken." He's like, "What?" He's like, "It's too early because it's like 8 in the morning.
It's 9 a.m.
The chicken places aren't open yet." It's like, fuck. Dude wanted some chicken, you know. Yeah, and he asked his dad, who and his dad is like, kind of like weirded out. He hadn't seen his son in years, but also, he wants his dad to call some of his buddies because his dad used to be a cop, and he's like, "Hey, can you look into this? I want to know if they have any clue who did this, or if you just kind of poke around with some of the old cop friends." And he's pissed at first, but he's like, "Look, Dad, you were a drunk. You weren't around. Yeah. I never complained. I never talked smack. I didn't care. I've been cool. I've never asked you for anything. I just need some help. I'm your son. I need some help." And he's like, "You know what? You're right. You have, Yeah. I have my flaws, and you were always cool. Let's do this." So he calls around, finds out, and like you said, nobody knows who did this thing. They think it's a drug
and nobody cares.
And nobody cares because it's Drexel, the ultimate turd. So yeah, he's a bad guy. So it's cool. So they get out of there, and then like I thought it was really funny. And he's like, "Yeah, she tastes like cherry, or tastes like a peach too."
Damn, she did.
And dude, she laid a pretty heavy kiss on Dennis Hopper on the way out of there. She's like, I'm like, "Whoa, why are you tongue kissing my dad?" Like,
but okay, so
if your wife tongue kissed your dad, wouldn't that weird you out? That's like that's a little much, you know?
Yes, it would. Yes, it would.
But hey,
here's the deal. Like, so when we're talking cast here, just
sorry, I mean to bring up your family on the air. I'm just saying, it's like
no, but like when we're talking fan or cast later, people bring up Patricia Arquette. Like, besides this movie, I don't know what else she's got. Like, she was in some other stuff.
Yeah, of course.
But cast wise, like, she's not this. But
what do you mean she's not what?
Gold. She's not. I mean, like what else you got besides this movie? Like, we're talking about cast here, like, and she's not this. She hadn't done anything else really. Like, but she was just so perfect for this. Like, she was
in Nightmare on Elm Street, dude. Like, what else do you need?
I know. Nightmare on Elm Street 3, and
she was in Medium. She was in The Act. She was in Boyhood, which is a Linklater film. She was in Severance. She was in Lost Highway.
You're looking it up.
She was in Stigmata. I mean,
good, because you're looking it up.
Boardwalk Empire. Bring Out the Dead. I mean, she's in CSI. She was in Uncle Buck.
She hasn't.
She was in Ed Wood. She was in Toy Story 4. She was in.
I can use Google too, Clint.
I mean, there's a lot of movies that she was in. She was in.
I'm just saying, but
what
if you weren't looking at Google, what other Patricia Arquette movie would you bring up?
None. But she's fantastic in that movie. I don't really need to bring.
But in that
I mean,
movie,
she was in Medium for like 6 years, but this was years later. This is years later.
Show.
Yeah,
and I never saw that show. I mean, it may be spectacular. I'm not, but that's the thing. Like, in this movie, she is so, like, when she's like, "All right, Daddy," it's just like, man, I wish I was married to her. No, I was gonna be my ass because I just said that. But
you're absolutely right. I'm like, dude, where do I find one of those? She's perfect.
She's so fucking. Like, she did just make out with my dad, but like, she's like, "Oh, Daddy, I love you. I can't wait to see you again." And she just met him like 10 minutes ago, or whatever. Like, she's like,
just super
so
sweet.
Great.
She plays someone super sweet in this movie.
It's just so super sweet, and like, she's just perfect for this role. But cast-wise, just saying, I'm coming at you. Just heads up there.
Cast? I mean, she's perfect casting for that role. Like there's nobody else who could have done what she did in that the same way. I don't think it would have hit the same way. From the crooked teeth, she's got like some her teeth aren't perfect.
Right.
She's like the most beautiful thing ever, but flawed, but just perfect in her personality. It all cooked together, worked perfectly for the role. Like it's just exactly the right casting for that role. And Christian Slater's perfect too for it. It's like you could have put other people in those spots, but it's like
again, Christian Slater. You're bringing Christian Slater to I mean,
he's perfect cast. He did perfect for this. I think you could have.
I mean, he did.
You could have. You could have.
Role.
Could you put somebody else in that position? I think you could have. I think maybe you could have. You could have had. You could have had another guy in that role, and it could have still been fantastic. Like, because Patricia.
What did Arquette win an Oscar for?
There you go. I honestly think you could replace Christian Slater in this movie before you could replace Patricia Arquette.
I agree.
I think she's more important.
I agree.
Like I could see
she is so perfect
and this is kind of fun to do because it's this is one of our buddy Chris's favorite actors, but you could have Ethan Hawke could have played that character. And I think he could have pulled it off. You know what I mean? I think it's I'm glad it's Christian Slater.
Travolta would have killed that role.
No way. He would have killed it. Like he would have destroyed the movie.
Hey, come on.
Nah, I would have destroyed the movie. Come on, dude. Come on now. But I think Christian
Face Off, so it just kind of rolled over.
I think Christian Slater's perfect for it though.
But Face Off was Nick Cage. Damn, I'm fucking.
Yeah, Nick Cage. And Christian Slater was.
Oh, great minds think alike, Mel.
No, Christian Slater. It was golden something.
Shower.
Come on, dude. What's the movie?
Cold. No.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you. What was that movie? It was like a pilot or something.
Broken Arrow.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep. Now, but like, Christian Slater did a great job, man. He really did. But honestly, you're exactly right. She won an Oscar for Boyhood.
For Boyhood, yeah, it's a Linklater film.
Cool.
With Ethan Hawke.
I watched it. I don't.
Did you see Ethan Hawke?
I remember Ethan Hawke and I don't remember her. I'm not trying to be mean by any means, but I watched it.
Take it back, Curtis. You take that back.
I just
kidding.
I do.
She's fantastic. She's fantastic. You
take
it back.
But I mean, in this role, like she was I agree with you. You made a good point. She is more irreplaceable than Slater
we're talking about the perfect cast.
Heart of the movie.
She was the perfect cast in this cast. Perfectly cast in this cast.
So Slater's your star in this movie.
Is he? Or is she?
Well, he's a lead billing. I mean,
yeah.
You tell me, like, and versus Bridges. So Slater versus Bridges. What you got?
I mean, how are we doing this? Are we doing like we're gonna be like, okay, Nolan Ryan versus Hershiser. You know what I mean? Are we taking the like leading man versus leading man? Or are we just going to say, hey, this movie has Christian Slater, Patricia Arquette, Gary Oldman, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt, Val Kilmer, James Gandolfini, Samuel Jackson, Michael Rappaport, Bronson Pinchot, Chris Penn. Like how many damn super badasses? Tom Sizemore, poor man's Michael Madsen. How many badasses you going to have in one damn movie? It's unreal. And compared to what? You got like John Goodman?
Compared to
like,
Sam
hey,
Elliott, John
Goodman.
Jeff Bridges, Steve Buscemi, Peter Stormare, Philip
Dude, you're bringing like a knife
John
to a
Turturro,
gunfight, man.
Julianne Moore, Tara Reid, David
Ooh,
Huddleston,
Tara
Flea,
Reid.
John Polito.
How many Academy Awards does Tara Reid have?
How many Academy Awards does Christian Slater have?
That's an excellent question. I don't know.
None. I would compare Christian Slater to Tara Reid, is what I'm saying.
Chris says you lose, Curtis.
That's what I'm saying. No, so what I'm saying, like, let's talk about it. So,
All right, real fast. I'm gonna
don't run out of bullets, baby.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, but you could pistol whip somebody with a. Yeah. Oh, let's see here. So I'm gonna skim through all my notes here real fast. Go to get her stuff, Dennis Hopper. Dennis Hopper ends up. Or do you want to have the conversation before we talk about the Dennis Hopper scene? Because it's one of the greatest, the Sicilian
It's
scene.
one of the greatest scenes period.
Ever.
Yeah,
And it's well, that's a whole nother scene. Let's fight about the cast. Like Gary Oldman? Who do you want to put against Gary Oldman? Jeff Bridges?
Who would I put against Gary Oldman? Gary Oldman.
Jeff Bridges just basically talks like this in all of his movies, and he made
Jeff Bridges.
I'm gonna make like a
Who?
I'm gonna make a bunch of movies in 5 years and talk like this in the same movie all the time.
And
That's all he did.
Amazing in all of them.
Yeah, he's fine. He's good. I feel like it's like a Jeff Bridges is like a fantastic actor that ended up getting. He ended up getting the Jack Black treatment. It's like or like Adam Sandler treatment, or like all of a sudden like we just seen a whole bunch of them in every movie for like 5 years. Boom, every movie's got this guy, and now you're like, dude, what is this? Oh, he's playing a wizard. Now he's in the rest in peace R.I.P.D. Get the hell out of here, dude. I've got Jeff Bridges fatigue, and I haven't seen him in a movie in 10 years. Like, I'm still fatigued. I love the man.
So
he's great. He's a great
because
dude.
Of R.I.P.D. You're downplaying Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, dude.
Because of one bad movie.
What about the dragon? There's a dragon heart or something where he's a wizard. That one's pretty bad. Crazy Heart's really good, Chris. I agree with you. I'm just saying. If you're gonna Jeff Bridges versus Gary Oldman, Jeff Bridges versus Dennis Hopper, Jeff Bridges versus Christopher Walken, Jeff Bridges versus Brad Pitt, Jeff Bridges versus Val Kilmer. Dude, I'll fight all these fights. Jeff Bridges versus Samuel Jackson.
Val Kilmer doesn't count. Like that was like they didn't even show his face, and he was in like 4.
I'm just saying, as an actor, like if you're comparing apples and apples
here,
I feel like there's Jeff Bridges is a national treasure. Says Chris Klink. You're damn right, he is. I'm just saying.
But
you're trying to take a dump on Patricia Arquette, who's fantastic.
I said in this role, yes, in this role she is absolutely
fantastic. No. You said Patricia Arquette. What's she been in? And then you're like, okay, what else?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
like what has she got? Like what has she got? Look at the cast of Big Lebowski, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And so the one bad movie you pick up is R.I.P.D. Like what else bad has Jeff Bridges been in?
Dragonheart's pretty bad.
I don't know what Dragonheart is.
Yeah, I think that's what it was called. I think it was Dragonheart.
So
it was he plays a wizard. Okay, let's click. Come on, let's hold on here. Is this how we're playing? Hold on, I gotta click. Jeff Bridges.
Like of all the people you could fight me on, you pick Jeff Bridges.
I'm just saying. I'm like,
Jeff Bridges.
That was good.
Is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he is. Tron.
Tron. He was in Tron. He was in fucking Tron, dude. He was in The Fabulous Baker Boys. He was in Stay Hungry with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was in I'm not even looking at Google.
What about Iron Man?
He was fucking great in Iron Man. Like,
was he? Was he great?
Yes. He was Obadiah Stane in Iron Man.
Was he great? I don't think he was great.
Of all the people you picked to fight me on,
I'm just
Jeff Bridges.
I love Jeff Bridges, but I still have Jeff Bridges fatigue. And it's mainly
And I don't know why, because of like Dragonheart, which nobody else ever saw.
I'm looking
And
for
like,
this movie. Where the hell is it?
and
Is it called Dragonheart? He's a wizard, and I'm like, why
I
the
don't
fuck
know.
did he
I
do
don't know
this
what the
movie?
fuck your movie. You're probably thinking of like
Oh,
some
it
other.
was crap. It was trash. And then by the time the
Well,
RIP,
great.
once the RIPD came out, I was like, dude, I'm done with Jeff Bridges. Why? Why did he do this to us? Why? It's not even on here. It was so bad. He plays a
'Cause
wizard.
You just made it up. Like we had a weird dream
No way,
one
dude.
night. Now you're pissed off at Jeff Bridges because you had some weird fucking drunk dream.
Both movies are awesome. Both casts are great. You can't compare an ensemble as deep as there's so many good people, and we're just playing around here. Like we both have respect for both these people. We're just taking sides, and it's our job to defend our stances. So I have to go to battle, and he's got one hell of a team. He's got the Lakers. And I have the Bulls. Yeah, and I have the Bulls.
I got the Spurs, baby.
I got Michael Jordan, bitch.
Go ahead. I got the Spurs. No, I ain't worried about nothing.
Oh boy. Yeah, and yeah, I'm just saying. Dennis Quaid was in Dragonheart. Thank you, Bobby. Wait, I hope I hope he was in it. Let's see here. We're gonna look this up. Dragonheart.
Jeff Bridges movies.
There we go.
Why did you pick that's what I mean. I got a whole list of people.
I'm thinking that I'm playing.
And you attacked there.
It's the wrong.
Wow.
It's the wrong movie. Hold on, just a second here.
I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm like.
Yeah, RIPD is bad enough to soil a lot. Excuse me, a lot of people's careers.
Well, yeah, but like, come on.
It's the
And
RIPD, dude.
Hey, so was Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy was awful, but
yeah,
I'm
and he
not
was in
blaming
it.
Jeff. Yeah, I'm not blaming Jeff.
Oh, it's
Bridges
the
for
Seventh
that.
Son. The Seventh Son. Oh man,
He was in Starman. Oh my god! Like, what are you talking? Like, yeah, have you seen Starman? Oh my, The Vanishing, Arlington Road. Oh shit! Like, let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back. I mean,
yeah. Why? Why would he do this?
you're gonna lose. I'm just
Dude,
telling you
look at
now.
this.
Like, pick somebody. Pick another
Jeff
fight.
Bridges,
I'm just telling you.
and my mouth isn't gonna move for the entire movie. I'm gonna talk like this the whole movie.
You know, and I'm still gonna win an Oscar for it. Like, it doesn't fucking need to, because I'm fucking that good. Like, just, dude, have you seen Starman? Starman is so fucking amazing. The Fisher King. Oh my god, the Fisher King. Like, Seabiscuit. Like, what do you want here, man? Like, this is a bad fight. Just bow out. Like, just bow out now.
Hey, dude.
Have you seen the Fisher King? Have you seen the Fisher King? It's so fucking amazing. Mel, have you seen the Fisher King?
Hey, dude, look at that.
Yes.
RIPD, but that's RIPD, buddy. The Rest in Peace Department.
Life needs whimsy.
Once again, we investigate paranormal activity and our mouth doesn't move.
Life needs whimsy.
Yep. All right. Yeah, Starman, he was real badass for a while. He was for a while until he did RIPD. What the hell were you thinking, Jeff?
Yeah,
I love you, man, but
movie.
come on.
Stop.
Damn it.
Everybody makes a bad movie. You picked the wrong fight.
Jeez.
So, Starman is so amazing. It's a John Carpenter movie. It's
okay, so
40 years old now, but it's such a good movie.
I mean, Sam Elliott is a strong one, but he's in the movie he's only in the movie a few seconds.
True.
Philip Seymour Hoffman. Philip Seymour Hoffman's a legend. He's fantastic.
You're right.
You can't fight with that. John Turturro's good. Julianne Moore is good.
So
Steve Buscemi's good. John Goodman was good. I mean, like, but that's just a bunch of good. If you look over at True Romance, it's a bunch of great.
Okay, hit me. Give me what you got.
I mean, what do you want? Gary Oldman, Dennis Hopper, Christopher Walken, Brad Pitt.
So
Legends of the Fall, baby. Legends of the Fall.
Pick something. Pick somebody. No, you're just throwing everything at me.
Every one of those guys.
No. Pick somebody.
Gary Oldman.
Now, I will admit, I have not seen a role where Gary Oldman has been bad. Okay,
because I don't think there is one.
It may exist, but Gary Oldman has been great in everything. But so
Bobby, you've got to understand, I'm just fucking with Curtis right here. So if I'm speaking badly of Jeff Bridges, yeah, he probably just wanted to work with his friends. But if I'm speaking badly of Jeff Bridges, and Jeff, if you're watching, just know I am a fan. I have to fight this fight because we're on opposite sides. So
I will. Gary Oldman. I haven't seen a role that he's been in that has been bad. So
yeah.
I'll take the hit on Gary Oldman. What else you
got? I've got one that's Dennis. Excuse me. How about Christopher Walken?
Okay.
Now I've got one. I've got a bad role for Christopher Walken. But I'm not gonna share it with you. Go ahead.
Okay, well, I could probably pull it out. So I love Christopher Walken. He is a spectacular actor. But just like some people feel about Nicolas Cage, he just kind of got bored like on Wednesdays or something and decided to make movies. So have you seen The Prophecy?
Oh, that was a good one.
Okay. Have you seen The Prophecy like 6? Because he's in all of them.
Is he?
And yeah, there's like at least four of them. And it's just like he just got bored and like there's like literally scenes of him like sitting on garbage eating chicken. And like he's a spectacular actor, and
dude, he is in all of them. I'm gonna watch them all.
I've
only seen the first one, and I like the series. I've seen the series. The Prophecy they had a series that was good, but
the first one was great. Yeah, just watch the other movies though.
There's 4 more.
Yeah, I know.
I'm gonna watch those all night. I'm gonna watch those tonight. Okay, go ahead.
They're terrible.
No way, dude.
He's fine. And he has been in a lot of roles like that. Like it's just like I don't think it was even a money thing. I think it was just like he's just bored and he's like, I gotta make a fucking movie. And then somebody's like, hey, you want to be in this movie? And he's like, all right. So he is a spectacular actor. Christopher Walken is one of the best actors of our generation. However, overall, that's a different story. You got to talk about that.
Oh man, now, dude. I've got so many things to watch. I've got to go see.
Now
I got to go see the Jesus Rolls, and then I got to watch the other 4 Prophecy movies. Dude, Eric Stoltz, Viggo Mortensen. Dude, Eric Stoltz, Viggo Mortensen, Virginia Madsen, and Christopher Walken in The Prophecy. I put The Prophecy up. I put The Prophecy up against The Big Lebowski. I put that cast against The Big Lebowski.
In the first one?
Yeah.
Okay.
And surprise, Elias Koteas is also in True Romance, but they're probably buddies from
no.
They're probably besties from that one scene.
Tell me a bad movie John Goodman's been in. Don't Google it. Don't Google it.
I'm not Googling.
I see your eyeballs.
I'm thinking, there's no, I don't know any bad ones. Arachnophobia?
It's not great, but I wouldn't call it bad.
Got you.
I mean, it's not great, but I wouldn't call it bad. I mean,
If Chris Klink asks if Danzig is one of the Prophecy movies,
I think he is.
If he is, I'm watching that one first. Oh man.
Oh, Cloverfield Lane was so good. Oh, did you see Cloverfield Lane? King Ralph did not suck. I mean, like
Cloverfield Lane was really
it was
good.
Cloverfield Lane was fucking amazing. If you didn't go in with like, yeah, it was. I thought it was good. Like if you didn't know what was going on, it was fucking great.
Whew.
King Ralph didn't suck, man. Come on, Clink. Like,
Dude.
it may not have been a like blockbuster fucking great movie, but like, yeah, it may be one of his weakest too. Fair
Dude,
enough, but
I want to talk about Christopher Walken in Click. The movie Click with Adam Sandler, where they have the remote that can change time travel or whatever. Change the.
He's the guy. He's
the mad
doctor
scientist in
yeah.
Bed Bath and Beyond. He's about the most Christopher Walken I've ever seen. If you could take the Walken knob and turn it up, he's like, I've got this remote, and he's like, he's the most Walken. I don't know. Like his voice goes up, and it's like, I'm like, dude, you're being a wacky scientist for sure. This is like,
oh no,
I don't know. Like, hey, blah, blah, blah. It's like he's over the top Walken in that movie. He's pretty bad in Wedding Crashers, but like in Click, that's the most Walken I've ever seen. I'm like, dude, the Walken is turned up to 11. I'm super Walken. That was a really bad impression.
Super Walken. I am super Walken.
Super bad impression.
Now,
John Goodman, he doesn't really make bad movies. He
really doesn't.
Yeah, he's solid, dude.
At the same time, yeah. At the same time, like Brad Pitt, like doesn't really make bad movies. I don't know if he's a damn good actor, but like he must have the best agent in the world. Like
Brad Pitt.
Yeah,
he doesn't make bad movies.
Like name it, and I'm not trying to start a fight. Like name a bad Brad Pitt movie. You might prove me wrong. I hope you do, but like there's some that aren't that great, you know. But
I mean, like World War Z is about as bad as it gets.
Oh, I thought World War Z was.
It was solid. That's what I'm saying. They're normally. Normally it's like Legends of the Fall. Like, dude, legendary.
Ray Donovan?
Legendary. Benjamin Button movie is depressing in a great way.
Yeah, you're right. It is depressing, but I still wouldn't call it a bad movie. I mean, like it, you know, it is depressing, and like it got a big bunch of hype that I don't know if it was necessarily worth the hype, but I don't know. Like it wasn't a bad movie. Like that's what I mean. Like I can't think of a bad movie he was in. People say Mr. and Mrs. Smith, but
sorry,
John Voight.
John Voight. Yeah. Val Kilmer. There's not many. I can't think of any bad Val Kilmer movies. I feel bad. I still haven't seen the documentary. He got messed up. Have you seen that documentary?
But his later movies, like he's got a bunch of crap. But I'm not gonna blame that on him because he was dying of.
I think he had throat cancer. I think it was throat cancer.
and he needed to make some money.
Yeah,
he's got some bad ones later on.
Yeah, it's a rough one. But he's got some fantastic movies. James Gandolfini.
Oh yeah.
James Gandolfini doesn't have too many movies under his belt, but everything I've seen him in has been amazing. And of course, Tony Soprano is one of the greatest characters ever. And some of the most just insane dramatic acting in that series, like Sopranos, is super quality.
Well, I've never watched it all the way through, so I'll admit ignorance on that.
Dude, there's some deep getting into your character's head, that like emotion and crazy stuff, like beating the shit out of your girlfriend, and then like the time spent in your car afterwards, the psychological processes of why, there's some crazy shit that happens in that show. It's a very violent show, and then like you see like the aftermath after doing something like beating up your like hitting somebody or killing somebody with your bare hands and all that, and then you see like they have like weird moments in that show where it shows him like in his car and like the way he's behaving, where it's like this is what a killer would behave like by himself, and whether he's shaking or like his his kid calls right after he did something terrible, oh hey baby, blah blah blah, but and you could see the guilt on his face and just weird things like that it's like dude, there's some serious acting and getting into the head of your character and the situation, and it's not like, oh yeah, I just did all my lines, but like the expressions and the internal monologue and the things that are going on, and like there's some serious acting in that show. That show is intense, dude. It's really good. Anyway, yeah, Steve Buscemi, come on, man. Steve Buscemi is everybody's favorite
Boom,
favorite
Bobby.
hitman.
Boom, Bobby.
Let's talk about
Steve Buscemi on my side.
Steve Buscemi. What do you got, Steve? What do you got? Oh boy.
Yeah. Has he been in a bad movie?
I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
he's
sure
on
he's
Boardwalk
played
Empire. Reservoir Dogs, legend. Fargo, Con Air. I don't know if I want to speak for grown-ups. I don't know how great that was, but Armageddon.
Oh, that was great. That's great. He's great in Grown-Ups. Armageddon, yeah.
He's also in Sopranos, and of course Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Daddy.
Big Daddy. I don't remember it, but Big Daddy's not a bad movie.
The dude, he's been in a ton of movies. He's in everything.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Grown-Ups was good. Yeah. If you haven't seen Grown-Ups, it's great.
And Julianne Moore, she's fantastic too.
Right? Yeah.
She's great.
John Turturro?
John Turturro. Let's talk about John Turturro.
Apparently, besides the Jesus Rolls, because that's got terrible reviews. I'm gonna watch it, but
Well, he was in the Batman. If you didn't see, did you see the Batman?
I did not.
He's in that. He's really good.
Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's one of those guys. He's good in everything.
Yeah, in
Oh yeah.
yeah, he plays Carmine Falcone in the Batman. Which, dude, you got to go see that movie if you haven't seen it yet. It's really a quality film. Quality. That's what I'm all about.
Yeah. I was gonna go see it over spring break, but then a bunch of stuff happened. So
Tara Reid. Okay, you gonna put Tara
fair
Reid?
Enough. Yeah.
Tara
like I said,
Reid
I would put her
versus.
I would put her up against Christian Slater, and I would lose. but that's who I would pair.
Come
against
on,
Christian
dude.
Slater. Like Christian Slater's not bad, but yeah, he's a Jack Nicholson knockoff, and like he always kind of has been. And but he did spectacular in this role. He did great. I mean, I'm not saying that he didn't.
He was in Heathers.
Well, yeah.
Have you seen Mr. Robot?
He is great in Mr. Robot.
He's fantastic, and he's not a Jack Nicholson knockoff.
No. And he's done a lot of voice acting afterwards and stuff.
He was in Pump Up the Volume. Pump Up the Volume's good. Gleaming the Cube, man. Just that alone.
All right.
You don't remember Gleaming the Cube?
No.
Come on, dude.
Is that some kind of...
You don't know Gleaming the Cube?
No. What is it?
Dude, it's the greatest skateboard movie ever made. Murder in the First.
Murder in the First is fucking amazing.
The Good Shepherd.
Have you seen Murder in the First? Have you seen Murder in the First?
Yes, I have.
God, but it's because of Kevin Bacon.
3,000 Miles to Graceland. There's a whole bunch of movies that he's been that are fantastic.
I'm not saying he's a bad actor. I'm just saying, like, come on, like, man. Tara Reid was in American Pie as well. She was amazing in it.
Okay, man. All right. else we got over
Mel
here?
says, I
Dennis
watched
Hopper?
all
What
the stuff. Dennis Hopper is a hard one to argue. I mean, who do I have?
Easy Rider, Speed, Apocalypse Now.
Yeah.
Let's not forget
Yeah,
Waterworld.
Well.
Let's not forget Super Mario Brothers in 1993.
Ooh, snap! He was Bowser. Damn.
He was in.
I mean, like that. That's a tough one.
Yeah, he was in.
I would put him up against Sam Elliott, although he had a bigger role.
He was in Rebel Without a Cause. He was in Giant.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's a tough one.
You can't. Dennis Hopper's a legend. You can't compare him to
beat that.
anybody. He's a different league. What about Balki Bartakamos?
Okay.
You know who Balki is?
I do know who Balki is.
Yeah, Bronson Pinchot. I could put him up against Tara Reid.
I would put him up against David Huddleston.
He was in Beverly Hills Cop 3. He was in Risky Business. He was in Perfect Strangers. Oh boy. Okay. I think it's mutually understood. Both movies have excellent casts, and it's silly.
They really
do. It's silly to compare. To compare The Big Lebowski with True Romance, because True Romance is so much better.
I mean, they're odd.
Just kidding.
We are not talking about what is a better movie at all.
Okay, now let's get into that. Which one's a better movie?
I have no idea, because these are different fucking movies, like
in different styles.
I was so happy when I was watching Big Lebowski. I was like, man, just this great mood. And then I watched True Romance, and it's a good mood too, but at the same time, it's just this dark good mood. You know what I mean? Like,
so it's a fun movie, but it's crazy. There's a romantic element, even though there's a bunch of killing and murdering, and then there's still a romantic element. You're like, dude, I wish I could meet that special someone and drive off into the sunset with a suitcase full of money. I want
to kill a bunch of people because of somebody.
Yeah, it's a fun movie, and the mobsters are real bad people, and because he leaves his ID at the scene of the crime, they come after him. They come after his dad. The scene, we can't even really talk about the scene with Dennis Hopper, but it's Dennis Hopper going back and forth with Christopher Walken, and they're interrogating Dennis Hopper, and it's one of the most iconic scenes in cinema. And it's it's messed up, and he brings up some history, and because he says, hey, my dad was a habitual liar. I've learned how to detect lies. There's 17 tells. Women have 20, but men have 17, and I know them all, and I can tell them. Basically, you're telling me the truth by lying to me. I could tell. And he says, oh, okay, well, since you can detect lies, let me tell you this. And he's like, and then he says, am I lying? And it's just a crazy scene. And it's really good.
And what's good about it though, and then the thing is that, with that whole atmosphere, like, he only tells them that story because he knows it will piss them off. He only uses, in my opinion,
he sacrificed himself. He knew. He's like, all right, I'm probably going to get killed anyway.
He's like, I'm going to die slow or I can die fast. So I'm going to piss these guys off as much as possible so that I can die fast.
Yeah.
And he knows that being offensive to this other culture that they don't respect, he's like, I'm gonna say that they are part of this other, and he's not lying. He pulls his history out of his wazoo, and he's like, and he does this so that he's like, they are going to get so pissed off.
I'm going to disrespect these guys
because they are racially incorrect. They are a bunch of racists. I'm gonna throw this at them. Like it doesn't necessarily say it on his character, but it says it on them. Like he's like, that's why he picked it. Like I'm going to offend them, and so that they will straight up kill me instead of torturing me to death. And
And then my
like
son gets away, and
yeah,
I
and
don't I don't roll with
and
my
I
son,
haven't said
and
it doesn't mean anything because he had it on the damn fridge, but
yeah.
like, but still, like that's what I mean. It's not like it's he's playing off of these other again these
Well, it's an interesting conversation because it's like we were talking about this with the other day with the other movie, Boondock Saints. You know what I mean? And it's a bunch of mob guys that are sitting around telling racist jokes, and it's like somebody who's 14 and is living in the future where we live now, it can look where a lot of things are sugar coated, or everyone is looking for the being proper and not offending people and things like that, and people are going back in time looking for things to get upset about, and the interesting thing about that to me, and everybody's got a different perspective, but I think the fact that it makes people flinch to say certain things or to see older movies, I think that kind of shows that as a culture we're growing and we're getting better. You know what I mean? And I feel like censoring older movies like that. I think it's good. I think it's good to. I think censoring movies is bad. I think it's good to look and be like, dude, in the 80s, people were like that, and now if you feel like uncomfortable with people saying the N-word, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, because we shouldn't say that. But it's like just being able to look at our progress as human beings it's as a society, I think that's good. And also you got to think like, are these a bunch of scumbags that are in this scene that are saying some things that people would say that are a bunch of scumbags? You know what I mean?
right.
Or are you going to portray mobsters that only speak nicely and say nice things? You know what I mean? Because that's what mobsters do. You know what I mean? What's the reality? What's the art?
No, okay. So at first I was like, "What the fuck is this guy talking about?" But no, I understood you at the end. Like, but that's the point. You're right. So there are these people out there, and it's not only bad guys, these evil, awful people. These mobsters, these mafiosos, or whatever. Like as a teacher, I have like, and it's, I mean, there's still racism and all that stuff like that, but a big deal of it is sexism. Like I'm a male teacher, and like a lot of like the female teachers, they send a lot of the young boys to me that won't like they're not on my roll, and they're not part of my class or whatever, but they send them to me because they won't settle down their class, and they listen to me. Okay, and a lot of that is cultural stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to let a woman tell me what to do, blah blah blah. You know, and they come into my class and they'll listen. And they're not the greatest, they're not spectacular students when they get into my classroom,
Yeah.
but they're not blowing shit up, and they're not doing all this crazy stuff. There is still, it's not like this. I don't want it to seem like it's just these bad guys, either like these bad guys that have these thoughts. Yeah,
It's all around
Mel
us.
Mel
It's
that's what I'm
it
saying.
it
Mel says it happened to her at work too. Like it's not just these bad guys that still have these beliefs. These beliefs still exist out there.
yeah.
We haven't defeated it yet. Like it's like I'm glad we're culturally moving on, and that movies are progressing this stuff because it's not about us. It's about the future generations that see these movies and they're like, that's the world I want to live in. That's just like us. Like a lot of the stuff that we saw, it wasn't like that, like Star Trek and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
you know like we didn't live in that world, but we wanted to, so we progressed towards that. But that's the thing, a lot of this shit's still going on. Like
So do
it's
you think
literally happening right now.
do
Go
you
ahead. I'm sorry.
do you think our Do you think older movies should not be seen that portray stuff like that?
No, absolutely not. No, I think that
Do
they.
you,
I
do you
mean,
think
like
that new movies that are being made should cut all that stuff out? Where we live in a completely
I don't think
sterile environment to protect the kids
no,
that can't think
not
for themselves? Sorry.
no, no. No, you're not. Don't be sorry. Like that's.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I'm
and
just trying
here's
to
the
have a
deal. Like,
conversation about it. You know what I mean?
no, that's what I mean. I mean, don't. That's what I mean. Don't be sorry. Like, it's not because it's. So I have friends who are like, they're like, oh, my kids can't watch that because of blah blah blah. My kids can't watch that because of blah blah blah. And exactly, context matters. And like that, like I said, my kids, I watched Jason versus Freddy with my sons. I've skipped a couple scenes here and there, and this and that. Like, but it's like bad guys are bad guys, good guys are good guys. Like, and I'm watching it with him. It's not like like this. Our culture, your culture pervades no matter what. Like you can be the best parent in the history of the world, but if you're like letting your kids watch whatever, its culture is going to pervade. Like my I don't know, like what was it? My son was saying some stupid shit that he learned at school. And I'm like, what the hell is that? Like some I don't know, some new thing. And I'm like, but that's stupid. He's like, whatever. But like culture is going to pervade. Okay. You can't beat culture as a parent. But if you're with your children, like you can at least assuage this stuff. Like you can get it out of the way a little bit. Like you, I will. I'm not afraid to show like don't edit anything. I don't know. Like don't no don't edit these old movies like because you need to show them as well. Like if you're sitting there with him, like that's how people used to think. This look how bad people used to be. Look at like we used to watch Root. Like did you have to watch Roots in high school or middle school or
I've
whatever?
seen it.
You
I
watch
don't
Roots
remember if we saw it in school. I think I saw it at home.
like But I saw it at home, and we used to watch it in school, and that they won't let them watch it in school now, like the original Roots.
Right.
And I'm okay. You can whoever wants to argue me on that or whatever, but that had a big cultural meaning for me. And I was like, but that thing is like it was a big point saying like, look how things used to be. You don't want to be like that,
Yeah.
So yes, show the bad. Like we can be like, well, Hitler did a lot of bad things and blah blah blah, but everybody was okay. We can say that. We can whitewash everything, but no, that's not how it fucking was. You show people how awful things were,
It's
and you put
interesting.
it in their face.
It's interesting, like because there's plenty of movies and plenty of portrayals of Hitler, but like when I've been to Germany a lot of times, and first thing I was talking to somebody and I made a comment. I was just talking about how I heard that Prague hadn't been bombed during the war because it was one of Hitler's favorite cities, and a friend who had picked me up, he just stopped me and he goes, "We do not say his name." What?
Mhm.
We don't say his name. And I'm like, I said the word Hitler. You don't say that in Germany. They
No.
don't say his name. And we basically are erasing him from history, trying to, which you can't. You
Right.
can't. If somebody that terrible has done such
Yeah.
terrible things, you can't erase him. But I just thought it was interesting. And it's like,
Well,
you can't. I'm not saying that they're right or wrong for that, but I understand that's a European thing. I've heard. I was in Rome,
no, it's not just.
I heard
Go ahead.
they were talking about the leader of one of the leaders of Italy, I think, and that was in the news, and this lady said we don't say his name, like they were embarrassed of their president or whatever, and look, no, which is crazy. That's a European thing, and maybe it's all over the world. I don't know.
But no, but at the same time,
And Chris has a popular, or Chris Clink, by the way, says unpopular theory: Clarence's dad might be as racist as Don Vincenzo. His dog is named after a Nazi general. Tarantino's characters are often a little bit effed up, and that's true too. And that's what makes that's what's interesting about Quentin Tarantino's characters is he writes some interesting things, and it's like we want to think of him as a good guy because he sacrificed himself for his kid. You know what I mean? But he might have been a douchebag. You know what I mean? And that's real life, though. You know what I mean?
Well,
Your neighbor, the neighbor might be looking over his shoulder right now, telling a culturally offensive joke, and right now drinking beer, having a, and it's all around us. I don't think it's as bad as a lot of the media portrays, but I think I think the reason for a lot of that is to try and push us in the right direction. So I don't know. I think as long as we're all growing and trying to be better people, and if we flinch a little bit because we hear something from an old movie, I think that's a good thing. That means we understand that, hey, that's not the way we want to be as human beings, and we're trying to be better people now. So I can't believe that was the norm 20 years ago. Wow, you know what I mean? That's good.
The sad truth of history is that it's supposed to hurt you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's supposed to hurt you. It's supposed to make you feel like, because it is constantly driving humanity to be better. So it's like, oh my God, they did that. And if you whitewash it, or like wipe all the badness away, like, you're not going to get better, because it's going to disappear. Like, the sad truth of history is that it's supposed to make you feel bad. You're like, and you want to be better. You want to be better than your generation, your parents' generation, the generation before that. Like, you have to constantly strive to be better. And, like, other than showing the awful truth, like, there's not really a way. But
Well, let's get through this movie. I'm gonna speed read through this here real quick. Blah blah blah. He's not worth one of your tears. Rappaport does a casting role. He gets cast for the show. They hook up with Balky Bartakamos, ride a roller coaster. Basically, trying to hook up a drug deal. Once they get to LA, they got a big suitcase full of drugs, and they're like, hey, his buddy's an actor. And they want to know, hey, do you know anybody that wants this stuff? I don't know anybody. I'm just a fledgling, aspiring actor. And he's like, well, I know one guy who might know somebody. And they get it worked out where they do a drug deal with a big-time producer. And they work their way into it. Meanwhile, the mob is hunting them down and goes to California. They end up hooking up. They give a sample to Balky. Balky drives a Porsche down the highway. He's speeding while he's getting a BJ, and he gets pulled over. And then he's like, "Hey, hide this drugs for me." And the girl's like, "I'm not gonna hide the drugs for you." Basically, ends up blowing a bunch of cocaine all over his face. The cops arrest this dumbass, and then he's scared shitless to go to jail. So they basically make him an undercover, and they put a wire on him. And he's an actor. He should be able to do this. They go to the hotel to meet with the producer to sell the drugs, and the mob shows up, and they go up there. Everything seems to be going well. Next thing you know, the cops rush in. Next thing you know, it's a giant gunfight. And what happens? Well, what happens is I missed one of the craziest scenes in this is right before this happens, though. Their hotel. Clarence goes to get hamburgers, and Patricia Arquette is there, and James Gandolfini shows up and beats the crap out of her, and she beats the crap out of him. Is awesome. Like, he's like, you're feeling real bad because she's such a sweetheart this movie, and he's like punching her, hurting her real bad. It's hard to watch, and then she laughs in his face all bloody, and it's like, God, this is hard to watch. Throws her into the glass shower, and she just laughs. She's like, "You look stupid." You know what I mean? Like it, and it's like, as much as he beats the hell out of her, she doesn't ever give up, dude. She's a tough cookie. What were you gonna say, Curtis?
No, her killing him was the most cathartic moment in, I don't know, movie history, but like, just when she kills him.
True romance,
like,
Cass. True romance. Patricia Arquette. It is the most cathartic, dude.
When she kills him, it's like, Odin has a place for you at Valhalla, baby. Just go sit down. Like, you're fine.
She's so sweet and lovely in this movie. You just want to jump into the movie and take care of her and love this girl. You know what I mean? You're like, she's so perfect. She's great. And then this beast who we know is Tony Soprano is beating the hell out of her, and you're like, what the hell? And you're getting mad, and then she just keeps laughing in his face, and it's like, yes, this is great. And then finally she kills his ass, and it's fantastic. Uh,
It is so fucking
it's so
amazing.
good. It's so cool that they both of them keep getting hurt and like taking care of each other. But yeah, so they take off from there, then go to the hotel.
And then when even this time, I'll tell you, even this time when I just watched it before the show, uh, when he shows up and he realizes he wasn't there and to protect her, even though she
Yeah.
fucking killed that some bitch. Like he's like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Like I was cheering up, like oh my god, like like I wasn't here, like
And he's cleaning her up at the airport. They're sitting outside
yeah,
the airport cleaning her up and all that. And I'm like, man, these two get the hell beat out of each other. And then they go to this thing. The drug deal goes south. Cops come in. Balky's like, Cousin Laddie. No, he didn't say that. He's like, officer, can I leave now? My part's done. And the producer's like, you son of a bitch! I treated you like my son, and throws hot water on him or coffee or whatever. Gets blown away.
yeah.
Then, oh, it's the best when they're having the shootout with the cops and the mob and all that. And also those bodyguards are like, we hate cops, and they were total scumbags too. It was a good scene, good shootout. And meanwhile, Christian Slater's hanging out with Elvis right before all this, and
Oh yeah.
and they make it out, And I love how you got poor man's Michael Madsen and Sean Penn's brother hanging out, and it's like and they're having the shootout, and then the guy's "Spaffanculo." He's just speaking in Italian, and then he's like, "Get out from behind the couch." He like says it in Italian, I was like, "Oh fuck, that's really funny." Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, so that's good.
So-
And then they disappear, and they end up going to Cancun, and they have a baby named Elvis.
One of the best innings ever. And so I had Clink said to me the other night or last night, "Have you seen the other endings?" And
I
so
said that.
I guess
I said that too, and I can't remember what the
Yeah,
other
and
ending was. I don't remember.
I
Maybe they all
can't.
died.
That's no. Well,
Clink, what was the other ending?
rewa-
If you're still awake, what was the other ending?
and when I rewatched it, and so I've only seen the director's cut apparently because that's the only ending I've ever seen.
Is the
There's
ending?
another.
Is the ending you saw the ending where she
Baby Elvis, yeah.
Well, yeah, she finds him, and he's got he's been shot in the head, and she picks him up. He wakes up, and then she helps him out of there, and they both make it out.
Yeah, and that's the only thing I've ever seen.
I think one of the endings
he doesn't live in one of them.
Yeah, I think
and
Curtis Clink said
she's
to pull up your
cursing.
messenger. I don't know if that means he already sent you that or if he's trying to message you right now.
No, he told me the other night. But I was like, I wonder if I have seen all of them. But
Get out of the
because
couch.
I had wondered. So, they both ride off into the sunset with eye patch and a baby. So that's the one that we know.
Yeah.
Clarence dies, but Alabama rides off into the sunset with the baby being semi-happy ending. So and that's the one. So I watched that one.
Well, Chris, I can send you. I could send you a link. Pull you into the end of the thing. He's not coming.
But so so Clarence dies, and she's at the end. Instead of "You're so cool, you're so cool, you're so cool," it's "You're such an asshole, you're such an asshole, you're such an asshole," because it was all about him.
Are you making this shit up, Curtis?
No, and she's like, and she just like once the pink Cadillac or purple Cadillac runs out of gas, she just hitches a ride with the money, and apparently has the baby in her. I don't know, and it's just terrible. It's just like an awful ending.
So she says you're such an asshole because she's mad that he died.
She's mad that he died. And
Ah.
it was all his choice. He decided to do all that drug runner shit. And
It's
I mean,
true.
fair enough.
If you look at
Yeah,
it, if
I
you look
mean,
at it from a writing situation, you look at the whole story. If he had not, if he wasn't such a macho dude, where Elvis told him to go take care of this guy, they could have just bailed. He never had to go, but his ego made him. He's like, he could not take that this guy that was her pimp was still around and all that. He had to go over there and open the whole can of worms in the first place. He could have just not
I mean,
done
yeah.
that. They could have just rode off the sunset at the beginning. They could have just lived and they just moved or you know, and he could have hid her from this guy. Maybe it would have popped up later, but still, like if he'd have never gone and encountered Drexel in the first place, it would have been fine. Just
Yeah,
buy her some
but-
fucking clothes. You use the money to buy her. Oh no, there was nothing in the envelope. Never mind. But yeah, like he's like here, and then also pulling
No,
some
apparently
macho.
they had some money because they went and stayed in L.A. and like he had some money somewhere because I was like, where's this fucking money come from? They go and stay in L.A. and go to the amusement parks and stuff like that. Like they ain't got no money yet. Like money's coming from somewhere.
Oh, there we go. Chris says it was Tarantino's original ending. It sucked because she doesn't care. There's no baby. She just hitches a ride from a stranger like Clarence didn't matter at all. Yeah, I remember. I've seen that ending one time, and I didn't feel good at it at all. It doesn't.
It's terrible.
For a movie that gives you such a romantic, sweet story.
Yes.
And then to end it like that to where it's like, oh, okay, on to the next one. It doesn't feel good. The idea that they made it out just by the skin of their teeth, both of them got the shit beat out of them, and then they end up with a kid and living in Mexico, that's a much better ending. I like that a lot better. And then maybe they run into Morgan Freeman and isn't Morgan Freeman down there from what's the prison movie where they break out of prison? Shawshank Redemption? Don't they go to
Shawshank?
Yeah. Don't they go to Mexico?
100 years earlier. Yeah, but that's like 60 years earlier.
Oh, whatever, man. They're just old.
It's like, I'm 112 years old, Morgan Freeman. She's like, oh my God, let me have your baby.
Oh, yeah. Hans Zimmer did the music for True Romance. Yes, it was good music. Those little xylophone, bling, 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 they come in at just the right time.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, yeah.
But with, I don't know.
But what?
With Morgan Freeman is immoral. But
Morgan Freeman's God. How can he be immoral?
I like just that tone. I like when Clint and I were talking about it last night. Like that's like Tony Scott, who I didn't know. Like I know that Tarantino didn't direct. I knew that he didn't direct True Romance, but I didn't know who directed it. So I knew Tony Scott directed. So I looked at it. Tony Scott directed it.
Right.
And so he's pretty fucking big deal. He's Ridley Scott's brother. He directed a bunch of really fucking good movies. Where is it? Beverly Hills Cop 2. Shit. I mean, a bunch of really good movies.
I was trying to look up his
Man on Fire, which is one of the best fucking movies ever.
Man on Fire is good.
God, that's a fucking good movie. Unstoppable was good, but it wasn't. I mean, it was wasn't great. Crimson Tide, Last Boy Scout.
There we go.
Yeah,
Top Gun. Have you ever heard of it?
Yeah, it's a fucking Tom Cruise movie. Who cares?
You're like, cut it out.
The Fan. I've skipped several Tom Cruise movies.
You don't like Tom Cruise so much that you're gonna discount Top Gun? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Oh, wait. This come from the guy who disregarded Jeff Bridges because of RPD
Because he doesn't move his mouth. He talks like this
in one movie.
After he
It was
did Crazy
one
Heart,
fucking movie.
everything he did after that was like this. And this is Jeff Bridges. I'm Crazy Heart.
Oh,
I didn't know Tony Scott killed himself. That's terrible.
I didn't know that either.
That's awful.
No, I didn't know that either. Yeah, I know. He died in 2012. 18.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, he did a lot of good movies. And that's the thing too. Like, I really like Tarantino, but like, and here's the thing. So this was I don't know if it was the
I'm
first.
doing Bridges' mouth right now. Go ahead.
I don't know if this was the first Tarantino movie that he had written, but you can see the genesis of from this movie. It was the first big hit, at least.
He had already
we can
done
say.
Reservoir Dogs, I believe.
Written
I think
or
directed.
I don't know. But regardless, he steals so many lines from this movie for his other movies. So 1992 is Reservoir Dogs. True Romance is I think 94. Doesn't mean it was written.
What I do know is when I saw
93. That's it.
when I saw the interview with Drexel, that was Gary Oldman in makeup, dressed with dreadlocks. He said, "Yeah, this new up and coming director. He was recognized at Cannes. He did Reservoir Dogs. He's a great up and comer, and wrote this movie." So I heard Gary Oldman in costume talking about Reservoir Dogs. That's why I knew it came first, because I was like, wow, okay, cool. It's really weird to hear somebody talking about Quentin Tarantino before they blew up. You know, it's like right on the cusp.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, I knew. I'd seen Reservoir Dogs. It was great, and he wrote this movie. And then they asked me if I wanted to do this part. It was a white guy who thinks he's black, who's a bad guy. And I was like, I'll do it. Let's do it. It's from this up and coming guy, and sounds good to me. And so he did it. And but it's kind of interesting. They're like, yeah, he had recognized at Cannes and film festival and all that. And it's like, you know, Tarantino's done so many great movies and is such a huge director that it's interesting to hear like him before he actually was big, you know?
Well, but that's the thing, is that he's like, so Reservoir Dogs may have been his first release. He probably wrote them about the same time, but you can see so many threads that he pulls from this movie, like the I'm a beautiful blonde. Do you want to fuck me? And all this other stuff. Like it's in all.
You
this
are
other
beautiful,
movies.
Curtis, but I'm good, thank you.
Well, I used to be much more blonde.
I'm sure if it grows out, it gets a
Not
little
so much
blonder.
now.
It's just short. It's dark when it's short.
Siri just turned on for some reason.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why. I have no idea why.
You know, Curtis, I've got a lot of songs that all sound the same. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm sure he's not like stealing from. It's just, you know, you have your ideas and we all have our influences.
No, I know.
You know?
I'm not saying no, but he's still, and he's stealing from himself, and then so in what was it? Shit, I just looked at it.
Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown.
No. Red October. Or
Hunt for Red
like
October.
No. Okay, yeah. When you can see
the
lines,
Hunt for Red Lobster.
Yes. You can see the lines that Tarantino filled in because he's talking about Silver Surfer and shit like that. Like you can just he wasn't he wasn't even like he was like a guest writer or something like that, or like a fill-in writer. And like you can just see like his influence there. Like it becomes overpowering, and like it's cool that he does this stuff, but like it just you know, I don't know. It's like his style is so, I don't know.
Chris says Natural Born
I didn't-
Killers was somehow based on Clarence in Alabama, but Oliver Stone rewrote it.
That happened with a couple movies. Damn, Oliver Stone did that with a couple movies.
Yeah, he rewrote it and reconceived it. There's some kind of thread through Tarantino before he was directing his own films. So that's interesting.
Damn.
It's crazy that
yeah.
to think about all these guys back, before they blow up and they're big time. They're like creative guys writing scripts, and their scripts are floating around Hollywood, and they're like, whoa, it's cutting edge at that point. You know what I mean? Nobody people don't know all of their works or any of their works because they haven't come out yet. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool.
Well, and that's the same thing too. So if you haven't read, it's a good book about DC and Marvel, or listen to it on Audible. I haven't read it. I've listened to it on Audible, but it talks about these guys, a lot of these characters, and there's like, oh, those are just knockoffs. It was because these guys were like roommates, and they were like coming up with the ideas together. Literally, one worked for DC, one worked for Marvel, and they were roommates. And they're like coming up with the idea together, and they change it enough to where like they make it work for both comic companies.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff like that where it's like Deadpool and Deathstroke. They're both mercenaries with healing factors who are badasses. One of them's Slade Wilson's, the other one's Wade Wilson. Of course, they're kind of poking fun at each other at that point, but
of course,
yeah.
But yeah, Slugfest on Audible. If you have Audible, listen to Slugfest. Slugfest is DC versus Marvel, and it's like it's so great. It talks about, and it's just the writers and the artists and all this stuff like that. But like
we just hit the 3-hour mark on this podcast. Yeah, which guys, that means like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, tell your friends about us. Boom. Subscribe. If you have not yet, subscribe. And we do a podcast every Friday night. And I don't know what we're going to be doing next, but you sharing really helps us out a lot. And yeah. And you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter. All over the place. You can find Curtis sitting in this movie theater right here.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
And
what do we
now?
Yeah, Siren on Hulu is amazeballs. We'll have to check that out. Siren, do you know anything about that?
I haven't seen that one.
Let's look it up. Let's see what the hell what you're talking.
It's time.
Siren.
Clink, you need to jump on. It's time for karaoke.
Siren on
like
Hulu.
A fool.
Okay, now.
Treat me. But love me.
I muted you, but now I think it's better to have you on.
Boom, boom,
Ah, let's see here.
Bring my faithful heart, monstrous mermaids. Tear it all apart.
Oh, it is mermaids. A coastal town known for its legend of once being home to a mermaid is turned upside down when a mysterious girl appears and begins wreaking havoc. I like Wreaking Havoc. That sounds like a band name. Wreaking Havoc. Talk about
snap.
Fecal. Never mind. All right.
Get
it? Wreaking? That was dumb. All right. Hey, Curtis, what were we talking about? I wanted to bring up that Nick Cage has paid back his debts and stuff, and now his debts are paid off, and I'm happy for the guy, and I'm curious to see what he's doing. I wonder if he's gonna be more selective, or if he's just gonna keep making whatever the hell jumps in his lap. But I was saying, hey, maybe we should do some Nicolas Cage movies, and you said, well, should we wait till this other thing comes out? And I didn't know what you were talking about.
So we could do Nick Cage next week.
Or the next, but you said there's something coming out that I don't know about. That's
supposedly a Nicolas. The big one that he's like apparently Oscar worthy for is The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and that comes out April 22nd.
Okay.
So I didn't know if you wanted to wait for that or we can do it next week. That's fine.
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. It's April 22nd.
Yeah, that's the one that everybody's like, oh my god, he did so amazing in this, you know.
Yeah,
but
he was really good in Pig too. I don't know if you saw Pig.
I did not. No.
He's fucking great in that movie. It's really good. He's a truffle farmer. I don't know what you'd call him. He finds truffles and he's a hermit, lives out in the woods, and it's just incredible. He's got a past and I don't want to give away the movie, but it was really interesting, and he was really good in that. So when people are like, "Oh, he's just making all this trash," I'm like, "No, dude, that was a pretty damn good movie." He was like, and definitely worthy of some kind of award.
No, and James says, "Dude, Pig is amazing. Cage was amazing too." Like that's the thing. You showed me that article, and he's like, "I really wasn't like just phoning it in. Like if you're making however many movies a year, like it's hard. You can't put yourself into all of the roles, blah blah blah." It's like it's okay. Like it's okay, dude. If you're like we know you're phoning it on some of them. Like like you're right. You can't put yourself fully into all these roles at the time. Therefore, you must be phoning it on some of them. Like I like
yeah, going in blind, definitely. I didn't say anything crazy.
No, he didn't.
I didn't spoil.
But
don't watch the trailer. Just go watch the movie. It's fantastic.
Color of Space. I heard that's really good too. Color of Space, or what's it
I don't know about that one.
It's supposedly really good, and he's in it. I mean, he's in fucking everything apparently. And but supposedly that one's really good. And yeah, I totally do some Nicolas Cage, but I was just gonna say, like, Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent is supposedly his next big, like, Oscar-worthy thing. So I didn't know if he wanted to save it or we could do that. I know people have been talking about Raid versus Dread for a while, so we could do those or
let's see.
Whatever. I don't know.
April 1st is next. April 1st is next. The next one. The next Friday. April 1st, I'm going to see... I will have already seen Morbius.
Oh, we could talk Morbius, but I guess we could do Morbius versus Blade. I mean, they're both vampire movies, but, they're not related at all. But Morbius versus...
Morbius.
I don't know if I'll have seen it by then, though. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I'm watching it. It comes out that Thursday night, and I'm watching it that Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, we'll have Moon Knight will have happened.
We're gonna talk some Moon Knight for sure.
For sure, but that'll be the side talk. You know what I mean? We'll find a couple of movies that we can do. We'll find a couple of movies that we can do. Pig is amazing.
And then we had we had Judge Dredd versus, and I don't know why these stick in my brain, but
do you want me to leave you solo, or do you want me to play the music video? I need 90 seconds. Which one do you want, Curtis? Do you want to talk to yourself?
You talking to me?
Yeah.
What? I didn't hear you. I'm sorry. What was it? Something cut out.
When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well, because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone. When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well, because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine When I don't feel very good about myself, I fuck with people on the internet that I don't even know that well because it makes me feel better. Ooh, it makes me feel better. But the dopamine, it doesn't even last that long. And now the dopamine's gone.
Man, I'm so sad.
So sad.
Oh, it's gone. Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
James had to bail. He's like, have a good night. I'm sleepy.
Yeah,
Sleepy dwarf.
time for night.
Yeah, ticking time bomb. Dude, I've only had a handful of beers since last November.
Mm-hmm.
And I can drink, I can talk a lot more when I'm drinking beer. I'm discovering that. Yeah, I've just had a couple, and I'm like, man, let's keep talking. Woo! Hi, Kaz. This is Bobby and Bobby. Good night, James.
Good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Last November is a great band. Is that a band?
Oh,
It sounds like a band. If it's not, that's my new band name.
yeah, right.
Hello. All right.
Hello.
Well, cool, man. Well, we'll have to figure out some movies. Anybody have any movies they want us to do next week? Maybe we can get a couple of ideas of 2 movies to do. Yes, from Georgia.
Last November is from Georgia.
All right.
Let me check
2
that out.
movies. Well, what are you suggesting, Curtis, that we do? I know we're gonna have.
No, I just know like we've had the Raid versus Dread suggested a few times,
Mhm.
and then
That's a good.
Demolition Man versus Judge Dredd, the Stallone Judge Dredd, a few times. So that we've had those.
I think next time. I think next one. I don't think we need. Like, we've been kind of bouncing around on the format where sometimes we're talking about movies, sometimes we're just talking about current events, sometimes we're talking about TV shows. I don't think we necessarily need to take such detailed notes of the movies. I think I'm gonna I got real detailed on the Big Lebowski. I think I'm gonna get a little more vague and just have some notable mention parts where we don't have to recreate the whole movie. People can watch the movie, like and I think it'd be fun if we let people know what we're doing next week because they can watch the movie too, and it'll be fresh on everybody's brains. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Oh, A View to a Kill? Is that A View to a Kill? That's 007, right? I think it is. Dude, let's do R.I.P.D. I never watched it.
You haven't watched it? Wait. So wait.
I'm not gonna watch A View, dude.
Trash. You just talk trash about Jeff Bridges for like 20 minutes.
I'm not gonna watch that crap
movie,
dude. I've seen
own that movie.
I've seen Men in Black. I don't need to see R.I.P.D.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I've seen Men in Black. Why would I watch R.I.P.D.? It's like the poor man's Men in Black.
You haven't even watched it.
Yeah, I can tell. It's the same fucking movie,
dude. Okay, so we're doing that
mixed with some bad ghosts. Oh.
No. Okay, so what is it? R.I.P.D.
You can't even spell it. R.I.P.D.
I own it. I don't need to spell it. I own it. Versus A View to Kill.
I don't know why why are we comparing these two? Why is A View to a Kill in the mix? That's what I don't understand. I'm in, but I don't know why. Ryan Reynolds is in it, so that's good. A View to a Kill. It's got Grace Jones.
Yeah, you didn't know Ryan Reynolds was in R.I.P.D.
Yeah, I don't think so.
And James Bond. So View to Kill is a James Bond movie. Let's see. Talk to me, Clink. Why are we doing this?
Yeah,
is that
Clink. Why
compared to
are you
R.I.P.D.?
call back to your Walken versus Bridges? Oh, I gotcha. Let's get a different movie. A View to Kill. I mean, it's 007, so that'll be fun to watch.
Yeah, but we didn't compare Walken and Bridges.
Yeah, not really.
What were you comparing to Bridges? You're just bad mouthing Bridges.
I was just shitting on Bridges. Sorry, Jeff. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I compared Matthew, Mr. Bridges. One of these days we'll do Crazy Horse versus that Ethan Hawke movie where he sings. What would be a good
Not so Crazy Horse.
Let's see here. Reservoir Dogs cast. No, that's not even the right thing.
R.I.P.D. So you want to do R.I.P.D. versus Men in Black? Because you just said it. You set up that versus.
That's
You're
a pretty
like,
good one. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
Okay. All right. R.I.P.D. versus M.I.B.
Done, son. Yeah, Crazy Heart versus Blaze. Chris, we'll do that one in the future. That's what we're doing. Crazy Heart. I contend that they're the same movie, even though I haven't seen R.I.P.D. But I'm like, but yes, Men in Black 1. We don't need to get into the later stuff.
No,
Yeah.
just the
Men in
first
Black
one.
1.
Yeah. There's not a R.I.P.D. 2, sadly.
Gee, I wonder why.
Because
he didn't want to talk like this anymore. All right. Yeah. R.I.P.D.
Jeff Bridges was like, "All right, I got my check. I'm gonna go do some good movies now."
No, he's a fantastic actor. I'm talking smack. But after he did Crazy Horse, he got this weird thing where everything he did, he started talking like this, and it just kind of got into one of those things where it's like, all of a sudden, I'm seeing way too much Sean Connery in the late '90s. You know what I mean? It's like all of a sudden, dude, Sean Connery's in everything. Yeah. He's everywhere. Like they do that all the time with a lot of actors. Like all of a sudden, and they'll have somebody who's great.
Yeah, they get big. I mean, like
great and respected, and then all of a sudden they're just smeared everywhere, and you're like, dude, I'm getting a little bit tired of Sean Connery. I never thought I'd say it. Now he's a pilot. Now he's an archaeologist. Now he's a scuba diver. Now he found the cure for cancer and he's lost it. And now he's in the R.I.P.D. Like, what the hell is going on? Are you excited? I'm glad you're excited. You gotta. I'll make the thumbnail a few days early, and we'll share this. You guys got to help us share this so we get some more viewers. It'd be a lot of fun. Not that we're not having a blast with the viewership right now.
Yeah.
I like knowing everyone in the chat. It makes it a lot more personal. But we might get some other interesting perspectives. So yeah, this is fun, and I like the fact that we've kept everyone. We've hit it like we've been consistent and kept the viewers. Occasionally we'll jump up one. I think it's James, and then he'll like disappear. But yeah, this has been a fun stream tonight.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Curtis, why are you in the back row?
Because I'm gonna spill popcorn on you.
Curtis, I'm
gonna spill popcorn on you and then show you my boobs.
Curtis, are you gonna spill? Oh no. We'll go back. All right. This is wild.
R.I.P.D. versus Men in Black.
R.I.P.D. versus Men in Black. It's happening. R.I.P.D. versus Men in Black. Why? Because in my mind, they're going to be the same movie. Yeah,
Although Clint has seen neither of them. He hasn't seen either of them.
I've seen them both. Not really.
Same movie, but you know.
The same movie. We're going to go investigate this. Then we're going to go investigate this. Yeah, I think it's a solid versus. I think it's solid. And I think both movies have pretty solid casts.
I agree with that, probably. Yeah, good, pretty solid cast.
Yeah.
But not the same movie,
Not the same movie? Okay, we've got this supernatural event happening over here. We've got to do this. Oh, yeah. They probably both have a asshole chief supervisor that they got to deal with.
Probably.
Yeah,
It's
they do.
Comparing.
Prepare to be surprised.
So aliens and Ghostbusters, pretty much same thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Nope. Ooh.
Oh, snap.
Curtis, why are you way back there? Dude. Curtis, why are you way in the back?
One night with you.
Dude, why are you way in the back?
Because I'm that creepy guy. I want extra butter on my popcorn. Extra butter.
Dude.
And I want to sit in the back.
How far in the back?
Here's what I'm now praying for.
Curtis, you're way back there, dude.
Little things that nobody sits back there unless they have it.
Curtis, can you hear me?
Hey, what's that?
Hey, wave! Wave at me! Wave if you can hear me! Lower! Wave lower! There it is. This is the stupidest thing I've ever done on YouTube. This is great.
This is awesome. This is fucking awesome.
Yeah. Remember that time Curtis sat in the back and I sat in the front? We should do a whole show like this.
And so one time.
Okay. Hey guys!
And then there was Tiny Curtis. That makes me so much. No, I want to be Tiny Curtis.
Yeah, you are Tiny Curtis. So anyway, Curtis.
Yeah. What is it, Clint?
You're a good kid.
Oh, thank you.
High five.
The
other way.
Other way.
Oh, yeah, there it is. This is the stupidest thing ever.
I'm so happy.
No, that's not what I wanted to do.
I'm so tiny.
Come on. Hey, get away. All right, there we go. All right. Boy, that was fun. All right, man. Well, shoot. On that note, in closing, next week.
Go Cougs. Go Cougs.
Go Cougs, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, what do you guys in the chat? Anybody have anything interesting happening this week? Anything?
Kazakhs is going to fight a gorilla, apparently. But it's going to be like Tuesday or Thursday.
Is this
but he's
real?
going to fight a radioactive gorilla. Mel's getting out early next Friday to watch Kaz fight the radioactive gorilla.
And then what?
And she'll be on time.
And then? Then what happens?
Bobby's going to save the world, of course, as always. And
then?
EJ's going to jump in and take jabs at all of us.
Well, that's not very nice.
It's okay. We love him. That's what he does.
I'm just killing time while I'm making the thumbnail for next week's thing. Keep talking, Curtis.
So,
I'm doing this in record
do
time.
y'all know where the finger came from? Do you know where the finger came
Which,
from?
where? Please tell me.
Okay, so in the French and English War, uh, the English won wars and were known for winning wars because of their longbowmen. And whenever you draw a bow, you draw it like this. And so the French said, well, any Englishman we catch, we're going to cut his middle finger off.
Is this
Um,
real?
yes.
It's a real story.
And yep. And so it was a very long war. The English won the war. And so afterwards, they would walk around going, hey, I still got my middle finger. Now, in the UK, and we have UK viewers, they can tell you that the finger, I mean, if they know what it means in the US, it still has significance, but they show like this, like, look, we still have our fingers. Where's my camera? But we can still draw a bow. So they throw like the opposite peace sign or whatever it is, the this kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, yeah, we got this, and but over here, it just in America it translated to like we still got our middle finger. Check this out, like we got it, and that's why they call it flipping the bird because the arrows on they're the feathers on the end of the arrow, and so on and so forth. Um, so in other countries, the middle finger means kind of nothing. Like it's very significant to us, but in other countries it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, they're like,
And yeah, well, there's that. There's in certain countries, like thumbs up for us is like, hey, good job. But in other countries, it's like thumb up your butt. Like so, if you give somebody a thumbs up, they're like, hey, fuck you. Like it's like you're gonna stick your thumb, and then
I didn't know that.
and yep, if you, it's like thumbs up is like bad news. Like hey, watch this,
Don't threaten me with a
and
good
then
time. Just kidding.
then the
Didn't mean to make
pinky
it weird.
in I think like China and like Asian countries, like that's like saying you got a little dick. So that's the finger in those countries. Like they throw the pinky at you, like they're like, eh. And then in certain countries as well, the bottom of your foot. If you show people the bottom of your foot,
That's
it
rude.
is incredibly rude because
Why?
why would you show some? Because that's the part of your foot. That's what I mean. It's weird to me. Let me tell you
That's
this.
the part of the
So
foot that steps in urine in the bathroom when you go in
urine
barefooted.
and poop and mud and this and that.
You're in a
And
lot of trouble now.
it's so strange to me. Like we have this shoe culture in America. I have kids to get free lunches and buy $300 shoes. Like it doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Like how these kids are like so shoe fucking. It's obviously commercialism. Like don't get me wrong, but like they're so fucking shoe envy, and they will be late to class because they don't want to crease their shoes. These fucking sneakers that they bought.
Yeah.
That like nobody's gonna fucking like these aren't gonna be collector's items. Like
Maybe they will be.
yeah, maybe one out of a fucking bazillion. Like because Nike's just dumping them out the door. Yeah, like it's not like and that's the thing. Like comic books have intrinsic value. You can read the story. Like these are just shoes. They just sit there if you're not wearing them, if you're not using them. Like they just sit there. But kids, Mel says, kids said I got my shoes at Payless as an insult when I was little. Exact. No, that's me too. Like I couldn't afford these fucking shoes, like these Nikes or whatever. Like I had the Elijah ones, and they were like sold at it was either Payless or one of the off brands or whatever stores, and I was fucking proud to have them. Like I was like, hell yeah, look at these. But that's the thing, like, and that's the thing. Why are you worried? It's so weird to me now as an adult. Why are you worried about what touches the ground? like what you step in, the things that you use to step in. Why are you so worried about that? It's so strange to me that we've made that a culture in America. Like we've gotten so spoiled that it's like the things that we use to step in other things and wear out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the purpose of them is to
The
keep our feet safe.
the other day,
You know,
Dustin, like I got some shoes. I was like, dude, these are kind of ugly, but man, they're comfortable. And Dustin was like, dude, nobody cares about your shoes. Like we're old now. Nobody cares what our
you're an
shoes look like.
adult. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, nobody cares, dude. You're fine. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. I mean, like honestly, that's what I mean. Like it's like why is that a subculture where we think about what are not what we step in, what the things that we have on our feet step in. Like it's so weird. And it's a huge subculture. Well, Mel, you're right. I mean, like Mel, like high school never ends, but but it's getting younger and younger. Like I teach middle school, and they're like worried about it. Like I mean, and I'm not kidding. Like these kids will straight up walk like duck, like not like goose step, but like just these weird. They will do this weird walk where they do not bend their feet at all, so they don't crease their shoes and be late to class.
I heard about this.
And I'm like,
Also, like you don't want Team Jordans. You don't want I think you don't want Team Jordans, or you want Team Jordans. There's like two different kinds of Jordans. They
I,
want,
but
yeah.
I don't know, but it's so weird. Like I know shoe culture was a thing when we were kids as well, but it wasn't nearly as strong, and it's just so freaking weird. Yeah, I mean, yeah, and it's and that's the thing too. Like a kid was arguing or talking, not arguing, but he was asking me like, "Man, my mom says I'm spending too much money," and he's like, "I spent $40 on underwear," and I was like, "What? Like what the what?" Like, and he works for his own money. Like that's thing, or at least according to him, his whole argument was he works for his own money. Um, but he spends $40 on his on one pair of underwear, And I was like what? What do you? I was like, that's where your balls and your butt go, man. Like, what are you talking about? Like this, you could give me, I could wrap toilet paper around myself. Like what? You know?
Yeah, he's like, exactly. That's where my balls and butt go.
But he's like their designer, and I'm like, and that's the thing. He's like 13 or 14. I'm like, who's seeing your balls and your like? Who you ain't? Come on, like let's be real. Like you ain't getting no game like that. Like get the hell out of here. I know you're not much. Well, you're not much younger than us, but like it's just like insane how accelerated it has become. Um,
Yeah, it's like a big deal, dude.
well, I'll tell you, and Bobby says she can only wear a pair for only about 8 months because of her back. It's not my back yet, but like the soles of my feet, I'm getting I'm getting so old. Like I can't walk barefoot anymore. Like I just can't. Like it's like the padding on my feet has worn out. It's weird. But so I have to walk in flip flops or something like that. Like it's not my back yet, but like yeah, I can't walk barefoot anymore. Like it's just
Dude, it hurts me too, man.
yeah, it's
Which is insane. But yeah, it hurt. Like I have to wear, like, this is where we're at in the show. We're like doing we're talking.
complaint. It's just random pain complaints. Well, and I walk. Apparently, I walk weird. Like this, the outside of my soles like wear out first, and then the inside. So I like step like this or something like that. So it's like whenever I look at my shoes, I'm like that's all worn. This side's all worn down, and that side's all worn down, and it's like so I step weird or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's
That's why
like
your feet are
all
all
the
messed up,
padding.
dude. You're stepping weird.
Well, tell me how to step then. Teach me, cousin. Show me the ways.
Dude, I have no ways.
Show me the ways of stepping.
I got no ways, but I've got an ugly thumbnail.
I got a good thumbnail.
I just made an ugly thumbnail. This might change, but for now we're keeping it. All right. Let's see here. Save.
I don't need, come on, Mel. I don't need custom orthotics yet.
Dude, I just got some. This is where we're getting real crazy. I just got some Arch Fit Skechers. They look like some shoes that the old man's going to wear to walk to the mailbox. You know what I mean? Where I'm like, dude, these are not sexy shoes. And that's what Dustin was like, dude, nobody cares what your fucking shoes look like. So I rock these shoes. They're not sexy. But dude, the insole, the arch support in those shoes is just fantastic.
Yeah, and here's what it's like. So it's just so middle school because I teach middle school, and it's just so middle school. Like I remember being in middle school and like brand names being so they're just so important. And I was poor and I could never afford a brand name. Period. Like you just couldn't. And like you get to high school and stuff, and it's like nobody cares about that shit. Like you just take care of your stuff and you get done with school and you move on with life. But it's so funny because like they'll be talking about like, oh, you got them Walmart jeans or you got them blah 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 this and that. And somebody was like, and they're saying that stuff, and they're like, oh, Mr. Baker, oh, with the new boots and blah blah blah. And I was like, yeah, my new boots, that's right. I got these at Walmart because they were on clearance and they were like $6. Like they're like,
oh
like,
man,
like that's the only reason I'm wearing these. Like they were $6 shoes, and I did buy some damn good insoles. The insoles cost more than shoes. Like insoles were like $18, but like
that's why your damn feet hurt. You're wearing $6 shoes, dude.
No, no. Before that, I had like some damn good. I mean, I had some good boots for a while. Like that's like if you really want to get.
Dude,
like,
you can't be wearing $6 shoes. Sorry. Like you're gonna I mean
well,
you can.
no,
you can, people do it.
No.
But if you're standing up all day, like that's one thing that I'm like a bit like if you're standing up all day, you got to get some shoes for work. For work,
No,
you know what I mean?
So I used to this thing though, like so I went from like construction work to teaching. And so, like, I am down with paying for some good fucking work boots.
Yeah,
like, work boots will save your goddamn life. And I would pay, $100 easy for some good work boots because you are, and then, but like with teaching, like you don't, but you can get like straight up waterproof, like fucking like hard ass badass work boots for cheaper than you can get like some just nice looking, boots. And they want you to look professional and stuff. I don't know. It's weird, but
dude, you got to take care of your feet, man. If you're standing up a lot, you gotta.
That's what I mean. You're doing it all day, like as a teacher, like you're just walking around all day. I mean, yes, you're right. You got to take care of your feet.
You gotta. I've had some like serious foot issues to where it's like I'm gonna start touring and teaching, telling people the importance. Start doing clinics about the importance of foot health.
I mean, it's huge. Like my wife's got sciatica, which is it's actually not it's apparently a nerve in your spine that affects your legs and stuff like that, and it comes and goes. But like I can't imagine like whenever, and I've had my uncle's got it too. It's like it whenever it hits, man, it's just fucking brutal. Like it just most comfortable sneakers I ever had were Under Armour from last year.
Dude, I feel like
that's the thing we can't.
I think our viewership just went up. We should start doing shows about shoes.
We're not supposed to wear sneakers. That's the thing. Like you can wear sneakers and get away with it, but you're not supposed to. You're supposed to wear leather uppers, which is what they call them, like basically like professional shoes. Because I got some fucking camo work boots that are badass. Like, and I just got they're just camo because they were cheap, but they're work boots and they're like steel toe, fucking like waterproof,
But
comfortable as hell.
they're comfortable.
Like, that's what I mean, yeah, but that's what I mean with construction. But then if you like want to buy like professional looking shoe or like not even dress, but like just some fucking around boots, like it's fucking $500. Like it's crazy. And this thing, well, oh snap, that's nice.
That's what we're doing next week.
I've had a pair of hush puppies the last few months. But see, and so we're in Texas, so I might not be as big of a deal everywhere else, but like dress shoes or boots or dress shoes here. Like you get some nice boots and that's dress shoes here. Yeah.
Next week.
Neither of us are going to watch either of these movies, and we're going to be like, so I didn't watch this movie. What'd you think? I don't know. I didn't watch
this movie either. What's tougher, this strange double-barreled gun or this mind eraser?
We can go cast here too. If you want to go cast on.
Oh yeah. Oh, who's funnier? Who's the funnier action star? Young action star, and who is the grizzled old serious guy? Who's better at that?
Tommy Lee Jones is pretty awesome, but
yeah, man.
It's just
what you gonna save it, dude? Save it for next week. You gotta save it for next week.
You gotta watch RPG.
Yeah, I gotta do that, and then we'll have the conversation.
You're gonna be pleasantly surprised. It's not a good movie.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. That's the best thing about doing these. Well, thanks, Mel. That's the best thing of doing these things is that we get to see a movie that maybe I wouldn't have watched. It's almost like a homework assignment. You know what I mean? Sometimes it is something I would have watched.
I agree.
But like, shit, I gotta watch this before next Thursday or next Friday.
That's you made a good point. And that's one of the reasons. Like, me and my wife fell in love, and we work. We are opposites attract and all the good stuff. Like a lot of the crap that she likes, I don't like. I don't like it. But I like her, and she likes that stuff, so I do that stuff. And sometimes it's like, man, this is really cool stuff. A lot of the stuff I like, she doesn't like it. Okay, but she just doesn't. But she likes me for some strange reason. She likes me, and she's like, okay, I'll give this a shot. And then she likes that stuff. True romance being one of those things. She was like, this is really a romantic movie. Like it should be a Valentine's Day movie.
She really enjoyed it.
Yes. Oh yes. She it's one of her favorites. Without the horrible, terrible ending, the normal ending that we
yeah, that we saw.
Yes. And yeah, she's like, that's really a romantic movie. And even The Jerk, she agrees with me. Like, that's a romantic movie. The Jerk is a very romantic movie.
No, The Jerk's awesome. Jerk's a great movie.
Yes. It's a great comedy, but people don't realize, like, it's such a romantic movie, I think. And I always watch it every Valentine's Day. I didn't this year. But the last couple of years have been crazy.
Dude, we're at 3 hours and 42 minutes.
You're at 3 hours.
Yes, we're at a new record. So I think it's time to call it. Guys, next Friday, we're going to be doing R.I.P.D. That's right. R.I.P.D. versus Men in Black. Holy smokes. What a movie. So we'll be talking about that, and that should be exciting. So we'll see. Is it the same movie? Do I not need to see that because I've seen Men in Black? Or am I in for a treat, and this is going to be a good time? So we'll see. Hey, Mel, thanks for tuning in. Thanks all you guys. Kaz, Bobby, patron, appreciate it. What else we got up in here? I'm looking, scrolling up. Y'all are the
Now,
diehards.
Kaz, Bobby. Yeah.
Kaz.
Clink.
Clink
Clink's
and the
probably still
Clink.
kicking around.
Clink, thanks for hanging. Jedi Master EJ way back. I think he was out. I feel like my rambling version of the Big Lebowski rambled on. That's why I was like, next time we're gonna have more concise notes, and we're just gonna go over it and then just talk about the good stuff. We don't need to be given summaries. So every stream we do, we learn. This is a fun time, and I appreciate you guys tuning in and for all the good comments and being our friends. We appreciate it. So we'll see you next week. And be sure to subscribe if you're new here and you're watching us on the replay. And so who was the winner? True Romance or Big Lebowski? The truth is, you can't compare the two. They're both great. Two amazing casts, two amazing movies.
Damn good movie.
It's an apple and an orange. There's really no comparison on that one. So, but do yourself a favor. If you haven't watched those movies, go watch them both. If you haven't seen them, they're both fantastic.
Yes. Mel, go watch them.
Curtis,
Go watch Romance. Yes.
it was a pleasure as
Romance.
always, as it always is. And guys at home, we will see you next time. So, as they say in Terminator World, hasta la vista, baby.
Come with me if you want to live.